Okay. 12:07. That's relatively on time for today. Do I just... Oh, God, I could just hit the 3-minute ad break right now. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a catty little bitch. This is actually perfect. YouTube, it's just you and me right now. Twitch is in the 3-minute ad break zone, because if I do it at the beginning of stream, that way we can actually get into the deck roasting before I get interrupted by a goddamn 30-second ad 10 minutes into my stream, and then have to wait 5 more minutes to run a 3-minute ad break, thereby taking 50 fucking minutes. That adds up to get into the actual deck roasting. But speaking of which, let me open up the YouTube stream. What's up, Halo? What's up, Time? Hello, Legolas. Hello, a clever Kenku, Little MX Doom, and Not None. Let me pull up the order for today. So currently, the order is Starry Eyes, Chaotic Order, Lore Giver, and then you, Doom. However, Doom, if Starry Eyes is not here within the next 10 minutes and we just get going, we will start with you. What's up, everybody? Hey, Mauled, how are you doing today? Bad, as I've been doing recent days. My back and my neck pain are still really bad. I've tried massage therapy and that's not really doing anything. After this stream, I'm going to make an appointment with an acupuncturist to see if that will help, which I've had back pain for like the last decade. I was a very competitive rower, and that has left me with super fucking bad sciatica, and just now I'm also getting a lot of pain in my neck. So hopefully I will have an appointment to fix it sometime this week. That would be very sick. But for that reason, we are now scheduling roast streams this month that are much more often but have fewer people, because I was noticing if I tried to do like 7 or 8 decks in one stream, then the pain was getting so bad that I like couldn't keep my thoughts straight. What is up, Phoenix Blaze? Sorion, thank you for the tier 3 Twitch sub for the 7th month in a row, my friend. Welcome back to the special extra super duper dog home. I appreciate that generosity. Yeah, no, and that's also why I've been doing the, well, Z went to the great effort of cleaning up my desk area so that it can also be a standing desk. It's definitely helped somewhat, but it's helped in the kind of like my pain got multiplied and the standing desk subtracted from it, if that makes sense, in terms of like the order of magnitude that we're working with. It has made the pain better, but it has not influenced the pain enough to make a big difference. Darkened Auras, thank you for the heads up. Drivetrain, thank you for that Prime sub, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. And Solgat, thank you for the Prime sub as well as for getting us to level 2 of the hype train. Welcome back to the dog home. Love that I can catch you live, Maul. Do you ever plan on playing Arena Draft again? I do, if I can figure out Oh, okay. Here's the thing we're gonna vamp about this today is I do, if I can get more on top of my own internal scheduling, because I do love streaming. Here's the thing. Streaming is really bad for gaining popularity and success as a streamer. The way you gain popularity and success as a streamer is you make short form content. And ideally, you make short form content out of your streams, of like clips from your streams. And then you tell people, hey, go watch my streams. And so when I've been looking at my overall body of work over the last couple months, the things that I'm noticing are things are still good. I like what I'm doing. I'm spending tons of time streaming and relatively little time making short form content or like sitting down to make long form content. And those are the things that convert the most to stream growth. We've still been having stream growth, which hopefully you guys are liking the stuff we're doing. But the places, my current priority list for when I stream things is do the deck roasting streams, as that is currently the like cornerstone of the channel, both financially and popularity wise. After that, if I'm streaming, I want it to be something that I am having the most fun with and will be the most community building, which right now is Darkest Dungeon, because people are getting invested in their spot on the dungeon team. They're getting invested in me attempting to like solve the bosses and egging me on into trying to like fight the harder bosses before I'm ready. So that has been good for community building. And then streaming stuff like Arena, which would primarily be for views and can do some community building because people can help give me advice and like backseat me, falls beneath I need to make other content that promotes my channel in general. And I think the biggest bottleneck to that right now is I think the deck roasts take too long for how fulfilling they are. Chaotic Order, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Not that I want them to be... I don't ever want them to be like... Hey, what's up, Elk? I don't ever want them to be so short that people feel stiffed, but I feel like when we do the deck roast right now, a lot of... Oh, what a bitch this person is. Right now, I think a lot of the deck roasts are... I spend 30 to 50 minutes on a deck, and 20 of it is me repeating myself. I think that as I become better as a presenter, I need to resharpen my wit. I believe I have gotten less witty over the last couple months because I've been so focused on stream talking, and stream talking heavily incentivizes you to just keep putting word in front of word in front of word in front of word. And if they're not particularly clever words, that's okay because it's a volume game, baby. We're throwing pasta at the wall. It is also very easy for me to get derailed during a deck roast, and so I think what will bring Arena Draft, or even like any Arena 1v1 content, back into the content roadmap is I feel like I am not wasting breath on a deck roast. Like, I am not telling you to play Impulse Draw 8 different times. I am not telling you that your win condition is lethargic 15 different times. It is, I am telling you the thing. We are moving on to the next thing. You still get the same total quantity and total quality of jokes and feedback. We just don't have 3 duplicates of everything in every deck roast, which is genuinely where I feel they are at now. If the roastees don't feel that way, then it doesn't have to change as much. But currently, it definitely feels like we get the currently we just like we either have like a vamp section in the middle, or like and this is something that I think this month's scheduling is really going to help a lot, where now I am asking more pointedly, do you like this deck's gimmick? A lot of the decks that end up ballooning the total time is when I am arguing with a roastee about whether or not I think their bit is funny. And I don't think that is like fulfilling. I think sometimes there are individual sentences I can tell a roastee to be like, hey, maybe consider you think this deck is funny haha, and the actual outcome of this deck is 4 people staring at each other silently. And that's something where the sentence is still worth saying. I don't think the argument is worth having. Danny G28, thank you for the Twitch follow, my friend. Welcome to the doghouse. Malt, has the timeout on suggestions thing you have started doing helped in reducing repetition? It is helping a little, and that is why I did it. I think a reason that I have been sleeping on as to why the deck roasts have been taking longer and longer and longer is they have been getting more popular, which I am eternally grateful for, but it has definitely moved from all of the deck upgrades are me going through Scryfall to fix this deck, and chat would give me 1 or 2 suggestions that were typically pretty good, to now we have a great number of people who all have an idea about what should be in this deck, many of which are caca ass. Many people will watch these deck roasts live and go, I know just what this deck needs. It's a draft booster from Ravnica. And so, as much as I like interacting with chat, putting you all in timeout is important to being able to do these concisely. And I do think that it's going to continue being a theme of, I'm going to look through chat as much as I can, and as soon as I get 3 strikes, you're done for that deck. Scarcity, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. I know just what this deck roast needs. It's a match of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the middle. Mango? You heard him. What if you made suggesting a card a stream redeem so that some sort of investment chatters need to put in to do it? Stormblast, if I went that far, I would make it a bit cheer thing. If it gets that out of control, what's going to be difficult about doing it as a stream redeem is it would then become, you put in a channel point redeem, I then have to see the channel point redeem, call out the channel point redeem, then watch chat again to pull your specific card suggestion out of it. I'm not going to lock it behind a bit cheer right now, but if we get more, I think if we started pulling, if I think about how active chat is currently, I think if we got over like 400 average viewers, wait, isn't there a way to set chat redeems to have a text input with redeem? Oh, then yeah, we'll probably try that. I legitimately will still, I would still put chat in timeout though. Because the thing is, we have a lot of people with a ton of channel points, and what will happen if we do the card, if we do suggest a card as a point redeem, it'll be the same thing that happens in the variety streams when we do review your custom card, where now the entire stream is just redeeming those. Skirale, you can lock me behind a bit redeem. Thank you, Skira. I appreciate that. So we might put it behind a channel point redeem. Maybe, yeah, we could do it like highlight my message, but I think any way we did it, the only thing that would not result in me putting chat into timeout would be a bit redeem. Because it would be like, and I think honestly, it's more fun to do collective punishment. Which is, hey, that's a fucked up sentence, right? But I do think it's legitimately more enjoyable to have it be like everybody's, it's a Socratic seminar. It's a Socratic seminar where we let everybody yell, and if I hear 3 people yell dumb things, I make everybody shut up. I kind of like that. What's up, Bander? How are you doing today? Cade, thank you for the drink water redeem. I appreciate that. So we have Chaotic Order here, and we have Little MX Doom here. Still looking for Starry Eyes, still looking for Lawgiver. Phoenix Blaze, that's the secret. It's not a true Socratic seminar because I am still a dictator. I am still a dictator. I am still in control of this. Mechanized, I think that would just confuse I think that would be too much to keep track of, to be honest with you. The suggestion was to have the redeem on a timeout, have a bot pull the card up. Having the redeem on a timeout is the good part of that idea that I might plagiarize. But I still think it's more fun for me to be like, no, unfortunately you're all stupid. Unfortunately you're all dumb, you're no longer allowed to help. Versus it being like automated. Like I don't want to be like, oh guys, oh that's it. I have a god complex and I simply do not want to admit that the suggestions are too much for me to handle, and I think that automating it is an implicit admission that it's too much for me to handle, and I would much rather be like, no, I can actually hold all of your card suggestions in my mind, but they're too stupid to be allowed real estate. Off with you now. So I'm going to keep doing the manual timeouts. Yeah. We're just gonna keep putting people in the no-no corner. Dan Baggins, thank you for the random Smasher Pass redeem. Smash. To be fair, I may have deserved the best of 3 losses because I'm trying to make gates work in standard, but still, man, it was brutal. Faced surgical extraction-like effects 3 games in a row, which boomed my maze's end. Dog, in standard, people are prepping for turn 4 omniscience combo. Yes, it's your fault. My heart goes out to you, but you're like, dog, I brought a pitchfork to the Iraq war, and I don't know what happened, man. Bullets started flying. I thought we were on blunt instruments. I thought I was going to have an advantage of some shit. It was hell. Wrong fucking neighborhood. We have rants from Tigerific and Lariak Saba. Why light mode? I don't know how to turn it to dark mode. You could also have it as a limited time redeem like the raffle tickets where you only open it up to when you need suggestions or at certain times in each roast and close it again after. No, I think that is more helpful and weaker vibes than me putting you all in the no-no zone. I need you to tell me which of my commanders is hotter, Ian Malcolm, Chaotician, or Karlach, Fury of Avernus. Listen, I am unfortunately hetero, right? So I am biased. I defy you to find me a bisexual who is genuinely picking Ian Malcolm over this. I defy you, okay? If you find one, do you know what they are? They're a coward. They're just a coward. They just don't want to live on the wild side. What are we talking about? What are we even talking about? Pray for me on this Stellaris patch while my empire decides to roll between 500 food per month or negative 800 food per month. This patch is laggy as shit. Hey man, I don't know what any of those words mean, but I'm happy for you or I'm sorry for your loss. Alex running to a doctor's appointment. You mentioned a card having bad play patterns or causing deleterious game states. Could you elaborate on what that means a bit more? Is it just removal in command zone equals bad thing you should never do, or is there more to it than that? So it's different based on design intent when it comes to custom cards. With custom cards, I think you have more room to specifically build something as a counterweight commander, and so you build it as like removal in the command zone because you're intending the deck to not have any removal in it. This is kind of like what Deadpool decks can do with creatures, where because Deadpool is so good at fucking up anything a creature is doing, you can build a Rakdos deck that has no other creature removal because Deadpool's doing all of it. But when it comes to custom commanders, I typically view those as we are trying to make this a build around. That commander player brainworm of I want to trigger my commander's text box as many times as possible should be active and eating when we are on a custom commander. And so for that, when I talk about deleterious game states, I think it should be like, what is the natural outcome of this commander working? And if the natural outcome is an empty board or a asymmetrically empty board where you don't have anything close to lethal, those are the types of things I think are bad. If your commander is meant to exclusively slow things down rather than speed things up, that's when I think the play pattern starts to suck. I just asked my buy partner and they said it was ridiculous to ask a buy person to choose one of two options. That is true. That is me. Sorry, that's me being hetero again. How long did it take for the roast to sell out? Shades, this month it took 1 hour, 7 minutes. So you all are free from a price increase this month. Also, Tiggerific, thank you for the 2 months in a row with that Prime sub, my friend. I appreciate that generosity. We have other rants to redeem, and then Chaotic Order. Since Starry Eyes is not here, we're going to get going with you after we fulfill these rants, okay? Where the shit at? Danny G, thank you for the Prime sub, my friend. I appreciate those Jeffrey dollars. If anybody else has spare Bezos bucks, please lay them upon my chest. Okay, I see Black Hole Beauty. Rant about RCQ Minneapolis Standard. Alright, we're fucking... Okay. Let me look up the... So what were the finals? Jeskai Control, Jeskai Oculus, Is It Prowess, Azorius Omniscience, Jeskai Oculus, Is It Prowess? Oh no! Oh god! All those times I said blue deserved it, I didn't mean like this. Who the fuck is saying standards back, dog? Who the fuck looked this spread in the eye and was like, yeah, this is where we want to be, baby. This is like a charcuterie board made exclusively out of different species of animals' testicles. This is, oh god. Zero forests in top 8. When is the first forest? 13th. That's sick as fuck. Honestly, I love that. Standard's dead. I can't, bro. This looks awful. No bans, format's healthy. No bans, format is healthy. Y'all motherfuckers love blue, right? Atrax is chosen. Thank you for the 100-bit cheer. I actually don't give a fuck about the qualifier in my home state. Get the trash blue control mages in Michigan where they belong. I mean, fuck. What does this list even look like? So you do... Oh my god, chic. Oh, okay. But wait, we don't even have... Oh, okay. I thought this was... I thought I clicked into an Oculus list. I mean, I hate to say it, this is unfortunately infinitely cooler than if fucking Bristly Bill was relevant in Standard. Like, this does look like hell, but at least hell is on and poppin'. We saw a different for a deck roast. We saw somebody trying to make a like green 1/1 counters deck work in Standard, and if I saw that deck up here, I would be infinitely sadder. It's kind of tight that we can have two totally different Jeskai lists that are both relevant at the top of the format. Lord knows I wish it was a different color combination, but at least it's not green. Right, so like top four, four different decks. All of these are way better than Elf Ball, which is a super low bar. But hey, we brought Monastery Swiftspear back from the fucking dead. It's Corey, Oculus, and Shiko control, right? I feel like if you're running Jeskai prowess instead of Is It prowess, you're trying to be a Manic Pixie Dream deck builder. You're just trying to hit people with the like, I'm not like other prowess decks. I have a white combat trick in mind, please. So like Jeskai, Jeskai, Corey, Steelcutter sounds pick me to me. That sounds like a pick me deck to me. Sniper Pug, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. That is actually crazy that because I haven't played Standard this time around. All I've heard, oh no, we got one Pixie deck made the top 16. Two Pixie decks, but one was only Orzhov. What tournament is this? This is a regional championship. So this is, wow, $100,000 and Pro Tour invites. So Casey Miller, Jeskai control. Yeah, Adnan, somebody fucking snuck mono black demons in there. Deep Cavern Bat made it to the top 32. For Solgat's personal question, I'm currently trying to find a new job due to the 4 years at work at my current company not being rewarded, even after conversations about my compensation with my management team. How do you go about not feeling dejected and defeated after putting out hundreds of applications and not getting any responses / callbacks? If it helps, I work in finance. Okay, so what will come as a surprise is I do have experience with rejection. What won't come as a surprise is I don't have any specific experience with job rejection. I have worked, the first job I ever worked was running my own company. The second job I ever worked, I was wildly overqualified for. And the third job I have ever worked is this one, which I am wildly successful at. I have legitimately no experience with professional struggle. But I do have plenty of experience with failing in things I want to do. I failed a ton in rowing, just over and over and over. I had a lot of success too, but I've had a lot of failures there. So those are the closest experiences I can pull from. And when it comes to something like applications going out, you really have to inure yourself to the idea that the people interviewing you can ever know anything about you. It's really common to take rejections like this as a judgment on you as a person, when if you think about all of the little interactions you have on a day-to-day basis, the HR people at some company you've never spoken to anybody at, they've never met you, you are just symbols on a page that are making them hallucinate an idea about a person. And if they're in a bad mood, they had lunch late, you didn't put the keyword that their boss told them they needed to be highlighting in every application that made it past the first round, which in finance, it's very competitive. A lot of those idiots believe in AI-driven solutions. And so I would bet fucking anything that at this point, a lot of the first round screenings are being put through goddamn Chat GPT, and it might just not like the adjective that you used. Like there's so many layers of stupid bullshit that have nothing to do with your qualifications. That you really have to callous down the part of you that thinks that this is a judgment about you. Putting in a job application at this point is basically buying a lottery ticket to attempt to put in an actual job application. There could be a ton of problems with your resume. Like I would get that looked over for, again, keyword optimization and shit like that. But after the rote logistical stuff, even though we have so much technology around us, more than ever, jobs are just decided by who you know in person. Because now there's just too many people. There's so many people the world over that if you want to get hired somewhere, the way you get hired somewhere is not by being the most qualified, it's by being qualified enough and knowing somebody who already works there. So if you want to take a internal locus of control over the job hunting process, I would stop focusing so hard on application numbers and force yourself to network. As stupid as it is, as frustrating as it is, and as hollow as it can feel at times, try to forge real connections, real professional connections. These people don't have to be your like closest friends ever, but forge a real professional connection with somebody else at the company you want to work at, and that will do more than making a better resume or sending out 50 more. That's my only advice on how to like take your power back. But for dealing with the feeling of defeat, it's really just a lot of practice at shaking it off. And then we have another, hey, listen, these are at least stream redeems, Starry-eyed. And we have, I believe, one other rant that I missed earlier. I mean, Kettle, that's what we said. I said that it's who you know, more than ever. Let me scroll infinitely far back to try to find these rant requests. Okay, we've chatted too much. But yeah, I mean, maybe one thing, God, this is gonna sound way too David Goggins coded. I think a lot of things that this guy says is wrong and is just, his brain is eternally warped by the thing that happened to work for him, which warps all of our brains. But the most Goggins-esque thought that I have is, I typically do better Or there are times where I can handle more stress when my chronic pain is worse. Because what the switch that flips in my head is, if I only hurt a little, then I start thinking about what I can do to control the pain, what I can do to make it hurt less, what I can do to get back to feeling good. On days when the chronic pain is really, really bad, if I can still move, I actually am more motivated to do stuff, because I think, well, it's going to be awful regardless. There's no way to have a good day. And once I can accept that there's no way to have a good day, then I can push myself to have a slightly worse day to get something I want out of it. Yeah, goodbye expectations. This guy, Brandon, who runs a lot of the events for WotC, I think he also took this quote from somewhere else, but said, like, happiness is just an equation of the outcome minus the expectation. And so if you can dump your expectations into the floor, outcomes start to look a lot better. Buddha says you're too attached to your output. Yeah, really the answer is Buddhism. That's the answer, is Buddhism. Very oblivious. I didn't specify my rant request. Can you rant on the current state of WotC choosing to use scarcity as a way to drive card prices for specific text on a card instead of art printing, like how Pokemon TCG makes money? Yeah, we've talked about this before, or we've at least touched on this a ton before. We're like, WotC right now, here's the thing. I don't think they're choosing to use card text instead of art printing. I think right now they're attempting to double dip to make more money than everybody else. And you can see this when you look at all the like secret layer printings they do and all the special treatments that they do. WotC is not making the decision of, we're going to do the evil way to make money rather than the good way to make money. We're going to try to do both things to make all of the money in the world forever. And I think that connects to an important thing to understand about corporations in general. They're not choosing to do the worst thing on purpose because it's worse all of the time. Legitimately, sometimes they are. Most of the time, they are doing the worst thing because it is 1% more profitable than the next thing. However, if they can take both paths at the same time, they will. And that is what WotC is doing. They're trying to get all of the special printing money with all of these like chase treatments, you know, your anime arts, your confetti foils, all of these like secret layers, whatever. And then they're trying to goose those even further with the fact that the text box is highly sought after. So they're not picking. They're just trying to maximize revenue, and they know that they have people that are motivated to buy cards because of the text box. They know that they have people that are motivated to buy cards because it looks pretty. And they know that if they combine these two things, they get an even bigger number. I came here to see Dex. Why are we having a philosophical discussion with David Goggins as a backdrop? Understanding the failures of David Goggins is critical to understanding why your Gruul Super Friends deck sucks. Okay? If you can't see that yet, we'll get you there. But it's crucial. It's crucial. What do you mean by text box? Kaiser, just the card is good. Like when I talk about a, this is a card where, does this cost anything? Yeah, this costs $20 because the words they put on it are very strong. So that's what I'm talking about when I say they are pushing a card via its text box. I like how two people were like, hey, why would you even bring up something dumb like Gruul Super Friends? We're like, a week ago, we looked at a Gruul Super Friends list. Then Elk had a random smasher pass. Lord Pepsi, thank you for the $2 super chat on YouTube. Welcome to Dog Heaven. Final Fantasy collectors will hit 1K USD. That's fucking gross. I will print my Final Fantasy deck for $10 of ink. Thank you very much. What if I dropped 500 RN and made you look at my funny lizards? It'd be funny, but I'd be out $500. That is, as always, that is the deal. Starry, we do have the order. You're up first, then it's Chaotic Order, then it's Lore Giver, then it's Little MX Doom. Alright, Elk's random smasher pass L coming in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, Elk? This is what you like? This is what you're about? D-Man, thank you for the 50-bit cheer. One can say that David Goggins is the prototypical Voltron deck, a self-made success story that could have been toppled by a single piece of interaction. Oh, thank you, baby. Eat. You breaking stuff.
We gotta fix that.
I mean, we can't because it doesn't reach the other.
Nah, I can fix it.
Okay, baby. Not only is it a sliver, but it's probably the ugliest sliver I've ever seen. Yeah, all the alt arts look the same. It's just zoom-ins. Matthew Green, thank you for the $5 super chat. Not sure if you play Star Wars Unlimited, but what's your opinion on other games following the collector booster product idea? FFG started doing it. I think, of course, if they weren't doing the double dipping on art treatment and text box, collector boosters are the way companies should try to be getting money out of us. If we're like, oh, I want the corporation to operate morally, if we accept that core conundrum as the premise, collector boosters are the way to go. Like the thing that we should be making artificially scarce is the arts and the treatments. And so if you have a booster pack that is guaranteed and has much higher odds of getting you all these pretty cards, then those packs should cost more. That's how we balance things. I think the problem with collector boosters is right now they're kind of standing in both buckets of like, these are going to be pretty cards and you're going to get like good strong cards. Then Little MX Doom has a personal question. If you were a fighting game character, what would your playstyle be? Oh, Order's called into work. All right, then Starry Eyes, Order's going to have to go before you so that we can do their deck before they go to work. If I was a fighting game character, what would my playstyle be? I did play Guilty Gear Strive. And this was who I played. I'm going to leave you all to yell furry about that while I pee. Then we're going to sit down and do Chaotic Orders deck. DMC, thank you for that 100-bit cheer. If anyone ever sees me buy a collector booster for myself, know it's a cry for help. We will watch out for that behavior. Worse than a furry, man is a new Kapenin. This fit is hard, okay? With requesting a commander roast, is it only in comments of a video, or I can ask in here? You can ask in here. It'll be like pissing into a hurricane. It will not influence when the commander goes. What will influence when a commander roast gets done, how long you have been asking, how many other people are asking for the same commander, or how many likes your comment request is getting. Usually the most important thing is how long you have been asking. But if I get like 10 to 20 different people all asking for the same commander, I'm going to do that commander. All right, so for anybody who has not been here before, the way this works is my supporters send me a deck list, a primer, and a power rating. We do not accept 1 through 10. What we accept is silly to spooky to scary. A power rating originally developed by my friend Danny Phantom EXE to measure how ominous your deck's turns are to somebody who knows Magic the Gathering and is paying attention to what you're doing. The most important part of the primer, the most important part of your deck is the primer, which is your description of how the deck plays or how you want the deck to play if it is a work in progress. Why am I a rat mouth? Darebrain, there was a different chatter directly named Jester. I don't think this slide needs upgrading for brackets. And first today we are looking at Chaotic Order's Spooky deck. The other players aren't real. They are just voices in your head, and they can't hurt you if you take your medication. This is a spooky deck built around a silly combo. Fine. With the hidden commander, Disciple of Kalis Nin. As long as you take your medication in the correct order, everything should be fine. In games, this deck performs very consistently, but besides adding in things like more free counter magic and less on-theme protection, phasing, I'm not sure what to improve. Check the primer for a short rundown of how the combo works. Bracket 3, Azorius Combo Control Pillow Fort Wheels. This is a word cloud of reasons to kill you via lethal injection. Primer. The combo. Have Hive Mind in play, along with any creature that can counter a spell as an ability. Cast Teferi's Protection or Perch Protection. Force everybody else to cast them. Their spells resolve on the stack first. You counter your own Teferi's Protection with your creature's ability. You play Disciple, which prevents anything from phasing in. So for those of you keeping track at home, things are now phased out forever. Finally, cast the Cthulhu Demon, the actual source of the voices. Now thanks to Annihilator, they never get to play the game again, and you beat them to death. Motherfucker! Is your silly combo the entire backstory of Fallout? What the fuck is happening here? Okay. So I need to go to the PowerPoint to track this fuckery. So we have Hive Mind. We have Alright, get the fuck out of here. We have... Oh! Okay. We have Tef Pro. We have Disciple of Kalis Nin. And we have, let me go to your fucking, okay. And then we have like Curse Catcher. So with the power of these 4 cards combined, everybody's stuff is gone forever. And then you beat them to death. I'm not going to contest that the setup for this isn't spooky. I honestly, I cannot in good faith listen to anybody who was like, this motherfucker won out of nowhere. One moment they had their commander in hive mind and then shit kicked off. Like, that person deserved to die. So if people are letting you do this, they do deserve to die. However, I can't help but notice like, can corporate explain the difference between those two pictures? Because for me, the only difference is you also stacked Farewell onto it. Like, you staple, motherfuckers sat down and went, the reason people don't like Teferi's protection into Armageddon is that it doesn't involve somebody spending 15 minutes cackling. So, I think what I do appreciate about this deck is it does sort of have to limit itself to tables where it's appropriate unless Chaotic Order is a dipshit liar. Because this is bracket 4. There is no way to get around this is mass land denial, which makes it a bracket 4 deck. And at a bracket 4 table, if you get hit with this dog shit, Chaotic Order deserves to do like a Fortnite dance on your playmat after the game. Because again, just off of like, if they sit down at the appropriate level of table, and we were like, yeah, we let the group hug deck play their cost reducer commander, and then we let them play Hive Mind, and then they hit us with the dog shit, like, my brother in Christ, the dog shit was already upon you. No, Darebrand, Moxfield says 3. Moxfield says 3, and we never listened to Moxfield. This is bracket 4. If Chaotic Order contests that, then they are a liar and also wrong. But if you ever see a bracket on an online deck builder website, you need to white that out from your head. So what I do like about this combo is that everybody is fucked after you do it. The worst thing about combos like this are when they don't actually lead to an asymmetric game-ending board state. And if we take all of everybody's permanents and then play Ulamog, you are winning that game. If people don't scoop at this point, they deserve to fucking die. Yeah, Moxfield cannot track the mass land denial because Moxfield cannot track the 18 different hoops this person's jumping through. Moxfield is not capable of the same mental Cirque du Soleil the average fucking Johnny Magic player is. Another thing I legitimately enjoy about this type of fuckery is if this combo fails, I think the floor of the deck is I play Ulamog anyway. That is a legitimately good thing. Being able to take the Rube Goldberg penis explosion chamber and be like, ah, this has failed, right? They removed Hive Mind. You know, I got fucking surgical extracted on my Teferi's protection because somebody I had played the deck against before saw me. End of the day, you cost reduce Ulamog and you play Ulamog. This is weird. Oh, so we have more. Okay, so the one. I want to be clear before I say this. This deck is a walking ad for tire irons. Okay? The fact that you still have blood in your body, Chaotic Order, is a testament to the kindness of humankind. The only thing I will take any issue with is the idea that you are on a vanishing or you are on a phasing theme deck. That thing you said about like on theme protection, which is phasing, your theme is a bullet-ridden tarp that is loosely pulled over your tentacle monster in your backyard, and you have painted phasing on it. If it brings you happiness, great. I do not buy. If I ever played against this deck and they like interviewed me post game and they were like, "What did you think about Chaotic Order's phasing deck?" I would be like, "What fucking deck are you talking about? I played against Calamari Surprise." Yeah, this classic permanent phase out card, Omniscience. Impeccable behavior, dude. Fucking snaps for you, brother. This probably has the out of time combo. Check out the lands that combo with Shimmer. What fucking lands why would I care about no out of time combo? That's petulant. That's petulant as hell. Oh my god. I mean, like, I'm trying to fill out in my head how effective this gets to be as a control deck when the only control it has access to is sometimes I can make your stuff go away for part of a turn. We have some very bad counterspellers, but these are... So I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, how much of this only matters for the combo? And how much of this phasing shit is me pretending I have a theme other than the combo? So let's see. 0 lands. Probably can't keep that one. 2 lands Omniscience. Has to work out. Out of Time's not going to do a goddamn thing. All right, we go down to 6. Bunch of lands. One of our combo pieces. Sure. Ori on the Beat, what Hive Mind does is when any player casts a spell, every other player casts the spell. So what this deck wants to do is it wants to have Hive Mind. They cast Teferi's Protection, which means every player at the table casts Teferi's Protection. They only counterspell their own Teferi's Protection. So everybody else has their stuff phase out. Then they play the creature Disciple of Kalis Nin. This Disciple has a bunch of text. The only important text is permanence can't phase in. So they stick this after the fact, which means basically you got super farewelled as long as this thing is on the field. And then they play Ulamog and beat you to death. Maul, why do you say Discipline? Because I feel like it. So we get to Surveil 1. I mean, sure, we're a control deck. We probably need counterspells. Play this. Oh yeah, this deck's crazy good, dog. I guess I pay 3 to flip Heliod. I am a demon. I am a straight up demon. Alright, everybody draws 2. Our spells are now cost reduced by 6? Right? Because it's 2 cards per opponent. So this is free. We get... What's the last bit? Is... Oh, well, we need Disciple, and we can't get Disciple. So I feel like we probably search for a wheel instead. We have the Counterspeller in play. We have Teferi's Protection. We need Ulamog, and we need Disciple. Yeah, this is on our turn, so it's not 7. Doesn't the Disciple phase out all but 5 of your cards too? Yes, but at that point, it doesn't matter because our opponents have nothing. Okay, so we get Step Through. We Wizard Cycle Step Through, because I'm guessing Disciple of Kalis Nin is a wizard. Yeah, he's a wizard. Okay. We get this dumbass. And we do all that and then pass. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. This person could just have made a YouTube video titled How Magic the Gathering Forced My Friends to Support the Second Amendment Instead. Oh yeah, like I said, walking advertisement for fucking tire irons. I think what's most wrong about this deck is any combat step that doesn't involve somebody hitting you. It's not too powerful based on how many steps we have to go through, but we have gone through 7 turns of being the fakest fucking control player ever So like if you get to hit this YouTube short on people, fucking sure. We still can't even do it this turn. Because we have to wait for somebody else to draw a bunch of cards to cost reduce this enough. So we'll say somebody draws a card. Somebody draws multiple cards, and then we explode their entire life about it. We do all this. You have nothing. I have Disciple of Kalis Nin. Yeah. Yeah, this fucking honks, dude. This fucking honks. I'm gonna retroactively have cycled that. Hell yeah. Imposing. Imposing and fucked up. Everybody draw. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, we didn't even have Hive Mind. It didn't even work. Jesus God. Undo all of that. All of that fades into the fucking ether because we didn't have the 18th combo piece. Okay, I will reveal a plains. I play one of my combo pieces. I begin my everyday routine of begging my opponents to not hit me for 8 turns so I can do something that I swear will be funny. I guess I'll play this for fucking value. We do this. Well, I don't think I can Windfall, because if we discard this guy, we're more than a little cooked. I can do this and we all draw 2. Fucking dope, man. This deck kicks. This deck's true as hell, man. Hell yeah. I'm gonna discard this pretend combo piece to hand size. Hell yeah. Turn 5, I will cast my 4-mana commander. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'll get this back to my hand and discard it to hand size anyway. Fuck yeah, I'm the GOAT. I'm the fucking greatest, bro. And then I'm gonna say fuck this shit, and I'm gonna cast Disciple in the vain hope that I just find Ulamog instead. Damn. I played Temple Bell for free though, that's pretty cool. Give me Ulamog, fuck. No, I have Haystack to for my fake theme. For my fake fucking theme. I don't see Hive Mind, which is the like critical part of the combo, right? If we do this without Hive Mind, this is just nothing. We can do this without Hive Mind, and it literally is just us jerking off. Oh, okay, we can Cursive Echo ourselves. Okay, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh no, it's May copy. So this is again... We have to ask people to kindly walk into the penis explosion chamber. Yeah, but you said you play this with friends, which implies you play people who know what the combo is. So at what fucking point would they be like, oh yeah, I'll copy the combo piece that I know exiles my entire board because it's the only thing that spell has ever done in the entire time I've known you? Trust they have done it? Legitimately, no. At that point, they feel bad for you. At that point, they are looking at the turn 7 1/1 board and they're like, damn, Jeremy needs a win. Damn, Jeremy's been going through it recently. We should just, hey guys, we should just copy the Tef Pro. They need this. They need this. Whatever you say, dog. Whatever you say. I'm not gonna subpoena the group chat that doesn't have you in it. Whatever you say. Okay, well, hey, you know what? Transmute tutors for stuff that matters. That matters. We're gonna put that back in Mulligan. Alright, 1 combo piece. 2 combo piece. No card draw, but we... I really, really overestimated this deck when I was like, oh, you can just play Ulamog. That dream is dead. That dream is completely dead. I think, so I think for the first time, I'm actually all set with the upper output of this deck, and the floor of this deck is what is embarrassingly bad. Normally, when I see a contrived combo deck, I'm like, you are killing the vibes with the output of this combo. I think the output of this combo is relatively fair and relatively telegraphed, and holy fuck, could you please do it? Could we please take a game action? Final notes. This phasing shit is made up. This is made up as hell. This is not... This is as much a theme of the deck as the theme of any deck is I cast spells, bro. The end point of your combo is everything is phased out forever. So I understand why the natural backup point of that is like, oh, my deck needs to have a theme. My combo is phasing, therefore my entire deck needs to be phasing. Which is like, hey man, that'll fly in 3rd grade English. That won't fly here. I'm trying to think of what on-theme interaction would be, because it sure as hell wouldn't be phasing. Based on what you have told me about your pod, the closest thing this deck has to a theme is I abuse people who have short-term memory loss because they keep forgetting that I'm going to combo win as soon as I cast Teferi's Protection. So I really think, like, all of the phasing should get cut. You can put in some, like, generically good removal, like Council's Judgment to sort of slow things down. I really don't think... God, you're playing this into somebody who thinks their dinosaur deck is really good, aren't you? Oh my fucking god. Okay, so there's... Legitimately, there's no fixing this. All we can do is enjoy our trip to the zoo, and I hope your pod is having fun, but we are fucking... We are playing Peekaboo with people who have just slid out of the birth canal. They don't know what's going on. The ways to upgrade this deck would be to put in more generic removal and really accept that phasing is not a theme. If you want the deck to have a theme, that is cool, and you can meditate on what that theme might be. But right now, the theme of this deck is I have an extremely convoluted combo that will at least win the game. And honestly, another thing that might be better is more things that win. Right now, you have 2 cards out of 100 that matter, and a few other cards that only matter if the Rube Goldberg machine comes together. And if you ever wanted to take this deck into public and not be beat within an inch of your life or ostracized immediately, it would benefit greatly from having more things that filled the role of like, hey, I'm a group hug deck that cost reduces, and you let me cost reduce things by 10. So now I'm going to hit you with dog shit. But a lot of it is, what if Tef Pro Armageddon was cute, and it's never going to be cute. If your pod has a good enough time that you enjoy it regardless, more power to you. People like weird shit. But we are just putting a lot of bells and whistles and bows onto Tef Pro Armageddon. I mean, the thing is, there is no theme. I think what this deck suffers the most from is the idea that a lot of commander decks are suffering from, which is to think that a mechanical outcome is a theme. Yeah, to phase out your everything. That's not the theme of this deck. I will tell you that right now, forever, that is not a theme that this deck has. That is a combo that this deck can execute, but it defines... It has so little... Yeah. Get phased out on, bro. Get phased out on, bro. Get phased out on, bro. Everyone's drawing cards. And right, and at some point, we can either execute this Ulamog thing or this Curse of Echoes thing, but you want to win by phasing out everybody's stuff. The theme of this deck is, boy howdy, I like this combo. And it's okay for a deck to not have a theme. It is not a prerequisite that every deck in the world has this like deep flavorful theme. And so I would deeply encourage you to drop this weird phasing stuff, because it is also, if it was connected to the combo, if this was like, this is my Disciple of Kalis Nin toolbox deck, and I am very consistently and very aggressively phasing things out and keeping them gone forever, and the top end of it is I do this Hive Mind Tef Pro combo, I would believe in that a little more. But then this has to be like way more of the deck. Creature Tutoring Disciple of Kalis Nin has to be way more of the deck, and we get to have way fewer of these like very, very efficient counterspell toys and fewer of these wheel toys, because so much of the deck has to be taken up by like the ability to constantly be phasing over and over and over. Yeah, right now these are like, you know, like when we were kids and we would do book reports for English class, and you would write hyper-specific sentences to try to convince the teacher that you actually read the book. Right? Where you would write, you know, you would get the whole thing off of SparkNotes, copy it off of SparkNotes, And then you would go, I really, really loved how the main character's cloak was so vividly red when they were walking through the trees on the way to Glendale and were assailed by the wolf who was snarling and had ichor dripping from his right paw. Like, the phasing is that sentence in your book report for a thing that we have otherwise taken straight off the internet. And so I like the idea. You are fucking deep over here. Based on your forthrightness and the fact that you were using it to punish a dinosaur player, I legitimately do not mind the combo. This, at least in the goldfishing I saw, this deck does so much nothing outside of the combo and is trying to pretend that it has a theme independent of the combo. I think if we correct that, either to make the combo more effective or even to add more things that allow it to function independent of the combo, because I truly believed Ulamog and Wheels would carry, and this motherfucker's having back problems. So if we correct that, then I believe in it again. Then we have a number of smasher passes to do. We also have a manual ad break to hit, after which we'll move on to Starey's deck. So I'll see you all in just a few moments. All right, we are now back. We have a number of smasher passes to do. And then we will be jumping into Starry-Eyed's deck. Which also, I'm gonna highlight the little fist fight happening between Storming and Introspective Trash, which seems to have been set off from Trash saying it's always morally correct to punish the person hard ramping into dog shit. And then Storming said, disagree, it may be boring to you, but it's nowhere near the level of sadism as this shit. I would like to impose upon both of you, this deck is just the Azorius version of ramp into boring stat line. They are equally boring. These are the same deck. You show me this deck, and you show me Bristly Bill landfall into Cactuar. Corporate cannot identify. ChatGPT could not identify the difference between those photos. Partially because ChatGPT is stupid. But like at the end of the day, it's just, hey, if you let them, this is a wind up Looney Tunes punch, and if you let them do it, you won't have stuff anymore. Which is why I'm fine with the combo. It's incredibly telegraphed. We can talk about how bad the mouthfeel is, but if you think it's unfair the Azorius player got to do something fucked up after they resolved Hive Mind, I can't help you. I can't. You gotta do all this. Look at all the tricks Chaotic Order has to do on it to achieve anything. I may hate the tricks, but I can still recognize that there is a multitude of them, and they are legitimately difficult. Yeah, which is why I found the greatest problem to be like, I would legitimately want more Ulamogs, like more things to do if the combo isn't working, but the combo itself is fine. Okay, let's count out the Smasher passes, get those, then go to Starry-Eyed. We have Schwablings, Jarfkoes, Pending Platypuses, another one from Pending Platypus. Hell yeah. I even let them know when I am getting close. Brother, you never say those words again with respect to this deck. Please and thank you. All right, first one. No. Well, actually, hold on. Okay. So not the things on the card, right? Not the things on the card. If it is the mutation itself, like if Z turned into the Hulk, I would be very much about it. So like the active biomass mutation? Hell yeah. These specific characters, no. No, on basis that even though this thing is in the art, I think the subject of the card is this weird bug decay transformation, and that smell has to be terrible. So no, because of the smell. No, that is not the face of a generous lover. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Smash them 4 times so they all retroactively become smashes. The ninja who bounces on it, please. Also, Ellie Jen, thank you for the Twitch follow, and I'm so sorry you walked in on that. Rosario, thank you for the Twitch follow as well. Next, we have Starry-Eyed Nightwing, who has submitted a silly deck. Let me be clear. The only reason I didn't drop $500 to have this deck roasted sooner is because I am currently commissioning a fursuit. I stand before you unafraid to expose my Twitter bookmarks. I am once again here to prove you correct. For those who have forgotten or simply missed the first time, the following is a collection of as many scalies I would happily smash as I could fit into one deck while maintaining some hope of it playing Magic. Due to the diversity of my tastes, the deck needs a Maskwood Nexus on the field to function, but with that requirement met, blue will be able to act as a fluffer for the imminent reptile pile. Mauled, as I said before, if you can improve it, please do. If not, I defy you to disagree with my choices. People of the doghouse, hear me out. First and foremost, if you ever shop this deck to Gen Pop with any theme other than I just think they're neat, I am calling the police on you. You deserve to be persecuted. You deserve to be persecuted just as much as the people who play "This is my deck" full of hot people. So it's not because you're a scaly, it's because you're being too horny and we need to put you in jail. Alright, so we have Blue and Owen Grady. I mean, Team Your Reptiles feels incredibly easy to make work. Yes, core assumption, everything passes the Harkness test. We exist in an alternate reality where all of these reptiles are sentient and consenting and of age. Scales are scales when Maskwood is out. Oh, not the babies, dude. So this is actually immediately where I disagree with you, because all of the ways, and again, even though I called them babies, we will Harkness test, they're all legal adults. No, they're all legal adults. But they're too small. I am going to body shame the reptiles at this point. The thing that allows a lot of the dinosaurs to pass on my smasher passes is the exhibitionist rule of, wow, it's really impressive. It's really impressive that you had relations with this thing. This feels a lot like the ostrich situation from Letterkenny. Like I think the face I would make if I heard a rumor that one of my friends had sex with a velociraptor, I would go, I would not be like, which is the face you want people to make. I mean, no. See, like this one, I can almost. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I can see the whisper of snitties on the front end here. No, not Dragon Kevin Hart, bro. Get out of here. Then I consider this one because it's at least humanoid. Can we hit a tag tour real quick? Anatomically correct. I have no idea what this means. Cold-blooded killing. Kind of real. Hey, I understand all of these cards have to be bad for the theme. Why do so many of these cards have to be bad? Oh, okay, we're putting lizards on the art. Then why do you get Psych Rift? What? Where is the computer enhance? Just felt I needed a board wipe of some kind. Extremely loud and correct buzzer. Extremely loud and correct buzzer. If you are going to be committed to a theme, commit all the way. You cannot get 99% of the way. We cannot go 99% of the way and then be like, damn, I just needed a good card though. Just die. Just fucking die. This is also not a dragon, Alec man. But like I think either, so it's really, we want to be internally consistent. And so if you say you could ship to me all of my creatures are reptiles. All of my instants and sorceries, however, are cards to support my reptiles. But if we say everything is a reptile, and even if the card itself is not a reptile, it has a reptile on the art that I feel some type of way about, and then also here's Cyclonic Rift, it undercuts you. It does not matter what your, like, even if in your mind it is superior to be 95% on theme rather than 93% on theme, all that other people are seeing is this motherfucker lied about their theme to play Cyclonic Rift. Like, that is how it's, because decks like these you do not play for yourself. We are playing this for the horror on other people's face as you continue to ask people to hear you out. So if we're going to be on that, we have to care about the optics of how the soap opera plays to everybody else. And so we just have to pick, we have to pick our guardrails such that we can adhere with 100% consistency. And so if we just say like instants and sorceries, these are good cards, that's also fine. But whatever guardrails we pick, we got to be all the way on them. Scaling up. All right, that one's funny. All right. What? We going down the family tree right now? Are you going down a fucking phylum chart to hit people up? At least it's a snake. Okay, Naga Druid. Alright, we have a bunch of 2-mana dorks. Oh, loser behavior. Hell yeah. Conventionally attractive reptile. Okay. I think this is where you will be put to the test. Styles, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Alright, yes. Yeah, these are just people with weird heads. I mean, I've said no to this one. So this is not a, I don't agree with you, but I hear you on all of these. This is the typical furry bait of it is a person and we changed their skull a little bit. Hear me out. Exhibitionist rule. Exhibitionist rule, exhibitionist rule, exhibitionist rule, exhibitionist rule. That is a hot lady. Thing behind her. My thing is, how am I supposed to like match with somebody on Tinder and on the first date be like, how's your dog doing? How's your sentient legal adult dog doing? Harkness test. How is your highly trained sentient legal adult pit bull doing? That's what's weird to me. 5 heads, sir. You say that like you have 5 dicks. That's not the case. Exhibitionist rule. We already said no to Dragon Kevin Hart. Exhibitionist rule. No, I'm not. For me, the scaly line is a hard stop once the scalies start being twinks. No. Potentially. I think the little guys are cute. I think they're cute, but like them being tiny defeats the exhibitionist rule. Alias SSBU, thank you for the Prime sub, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. This deck is what causes the madness effect in the eyes from Elden Ring to happen to me. My mind and eyes are alight from the knowledge. This is the type of deck that would get you to rip your eyeballs out. Just eye candy. Listen, man, I just like scales. Okay, so these are our... I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't even think Maskwood Nexus makes this shit function. Maskwood Nexus lets you put, like, Menace and Haste on these guys. That does not save this deck. We have to be cooking with something better. Okay, yeah, just a hot lady. Sure. Raptor treats. No. We have... This may be the first time I say this to a Teemier player. You have way too much faith in your counter game. No. Alright, so I think this is... So this to me looks like the section where we were coolest with breaking or not being on scalies in order to support the scalies. And for some reason, we tried to make sure that every card in here was just as bad as the scaly cards. And I think that's a mistake. I think that we have convinced ourselves somehow that if we move around enough counters, something good will happen for us. I do not believe that to be true. I think if we... Talk to me. Talk to me right now. Like, what did we... If we were on... No scales, we have a pog. What? We're well past. We are well past everything needing to have scales. Even Starey says we're trying to maximize scales, but we're not trying to do... We're not on only scales. And that's really where I think we save this type of deck is... We've done a little bit what the last deck focused too much on, which is we have this flavor theme that is non-mechanical. Our flavor theme is, for the purposes of this Twitch stream being monetized, the flavor theme of this deck is everything in here is a reptile that I think is neat. When you are hard committed to a flavor theme, you actually need to make yourself more flexible on the mechanical theme. And what this deck has done is we've taken the flavor theme and then said, well, if these are my commanders, I still need to activate my commander text box as much as possible. And that is not only not true, it is preventing you from letting the flavor theme shine. Out of this flavor theme, all we're really going to get is, boy howdy do I have a lot of creatures. Boy fucking geez. Boy fucking geez, do I have a ton of creatures in this deck. And there's a ton of things Teemier can do to benefit the cause of, boy howdy, I have a ton of fucking creatures. Which will turn this deck into probably bracket 2. If you just like play creatures and also Beastmaster Ascension, that's probably bracket 2. Let me Let me sell you on a flavorful way to do card advantage. Again, I am going to get them to pass a law. The joke I'm about to say, you may only say to people that know you. You may not say it outside the confines of your own home or a Discord channel. You take this card, you white out the title, you write smash or pass. That is how people make the piles. And then these types of effects, these types of pile effects can become your card advantage, and then we use this type of card advantage to get to all of our lizards and get to any of our good banners that can make the lizards fight better. I think we can keep the commanders. I would be... This has to be pre-recorded. No way you thought of that on the spot. Minister, I'll be real. I spent a lot of time walking around trying to think of canned bits. That was square off the dome. Unfortunately, I don't control the Raptors. It's a relationship. It's based on mutual respect. Okay, so this guy has to stay the commander. Unfortunately, all of my best stuff is improv. All of my number one shit is improv, and I can't bottle it up. But that is what I would recommend. Is I would take a couple pile type effects, and then you just have them all be smash or pass. You use that to try to get to like banner shit. Like if these guys are here for flavor, just let them be here for flavor. Their mechanics are terminally okay. It's totally fine. But we shouldn't focus on it. I think the ramp is probably fine. The curve is relatively responsible for 37 lands, and most of these 2-drops are lands, or are ramp. It's really this section that I would want us to work over with, instead of like, oh, what if I did silly counter thing? What if I just hit you hard in the chest, dog? What if I punched you square in the chest as hard as I could? And I think that should become the mechanical theme of the deck. Okay, so here's the O tag you can use for the fact or fiction stuff. I have a considering section that's just honorable mentions. Blows your mind once, then you never see them again. So true. I think she'd be sweet. I'm inclined to agree. It's not pandering if it's genuine. Nib Mizzy, so I gotta give it up. Cleans up nice. They do have that shit on. Definitely a Black Widow style assassin. For sure. Just the right amount of feral. I agree here too. See, 2 heads I'll hear you out on. 5, none of you are using 5. You're all stunting. Also, King Turnip the 20th or the 18th? Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Kind of guy you catch in an alley behind the bar. Twink. These are less twinky than some of the things in the deck. Graciously, if she'd let me. Maybe some of them are exhibitionist rule. I'm so glad you owned up to it at least one time. We love an intelligent woman. Yes, we do. Why is she giving me bedroom eyes? Yo. No, I won't admit to this. I won't admit to this, but why? I know what you're gonna say, but Starry, that thing has infect. I'm a sucker for a man who would defend me. Okay, off the art, I'll fuck with it. Orion the 11B, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home for the 3rd month in a row, my friend. What a time to sub to you. I swear he's showing off on purpose. Oh, true. These guys do have the stance. Would not want them to meet my parents. Plasma jockey. I don't know, he's just a welder. We can't be embarrassed about the trades. I would never let them introduce themselves with that name. So yeah, I think honestly, if you want this to be hardcore bracket 1, you should go 100%. You should go hard line. Everything has to be a reptile I think is cute. If you want it to be bracket 2, which is also very possible, if you want it to be a funny bracket 2 deck, you take this section of 16 and you surgically replace it with banners and smasher pass pile card draw. And then you can get cards into hand. You can just hit a motherfucker super hard. And the deck will play Magic. Like if we go... I have enough faith in this curve to just like see like, goddamn this card. Like what the fuck? Yeah, make the commander text box totally irrelevant. We're skipping crazy turns right now. Like, see, Transit Mage, in my mind, going for Maskwood Nexus, nah. But if we had something that could get Beastmaster Ascension or could get us, like, a card draw engine, this hand, truly, we should have mulliganed. Because it's turn 3 and we have a 2-2. We don't have fucking green. Yeah, that one's a little rough. Okay, but now we have Cavern of Souls. This hand looks more playable. So we do a little ramping. We play... Hey, we have a 5-4 with fucking trample. Like, this is not nothing. This is a decent commander damage threat, and if people don't remove it, it will become a problem for them. We can, but again, like, extremely loud incorrect buzzer mechanically. In the I would hit that deck, I see you. Also extremely loud incorrect buzzer. Also extremely loud incorrect buzzer. Although I realize we're keeping this because it flips to something good. If we were playing like, God, you can play the extremely tired green spells like Garruk's Uprising. You could even do shit like Rishkar's Expertise. But stuff that lets us draw cards and continue playing our reptiles, and then stuff that will make the reptiles hit you crazy hard in the chest. Let me just look at green banners. We can do like Become the Avalanche Finisher. These are only legendaries. If you want to do counters, like stuff like Broodlord can do it, or like Court of Garenbrig, if we want to keep playing at least kind of into the counter game plan. Alright, big question. Would you boink the turtle? It's a reptile, right? Big moment for Starry right now. It's a banner. Turtles aren't my thing. At least something isn't. Ugh. So the mono green banners do kind of suck. So what else could we... You could look for... I think the next closest thing we can get is to try to do like Simic +1/+1 counters. Or just ramp into things like Finale of Devastation. Oh yeah, you could do oh god, I don't want to think about the implications of unnatural growth in this deck, but yeah, we can do this. And that's how we make this bracket 2, and that becomes bracket 2, and you get to tell a joke, or we go hard line, everything is a cute reptile, and then it becomes just full bracket 1, and who cares that it doesn't play Magic good. Oh yeah, tribute to the World Tree, another classic green card draw thing. Oh yeah, we can also do Evolutionary Leap to try to turn our bad lizards into good lizards. I think that's also downright playable. And Smashable Reptile Lady. There's Mercfiend Liege, which would, I think, make a few people's heads explode if you put it in the Smashable Reptiles deck. I skipped that one for having a human face. That is true. It is very problematic for you to have anything in this deck that is not a reptile. And I can definitely see why you would cut it as a matter of course for having a human face, because throughout this entire deck, we've done nothing but play snakes. And Silencio, okay. That's the bracket 2 version, right? That's the version where we're getting all the snakes we can, but at some point we have to play the card game. I can definitely see why you would skip it for the bracket 1 version that is like, these are snakes. I like this. I can't put it at peak because I do think it's at a crossroads. I think we are at right now at the crossroads between, is this my bracket 1 exhibition in every sense of the word deck, or is this my bracket 2 deck that has a joke attached to every card I play? I missed the tag in the considering section. Even if she passed the Harkness test, she'd still bite me, and that's fine. That's your best tag in the deck. That's your best tag for sure. I do not think we have enough artifacts to try to do Poetic Ingenuity stuff there, Brain. So yeah, Starry-Eyed, thank you very much for the submission. Honestly, tremendous. Chef's Kiss on the tag game. Chef's Mallet to the head on the premise of this deck, and I think you can create 2 peak decks out of this. Naga Fleshcrafter is fine if you would hit Starry. Felian links are allowed in chat unless I don't like them, and then I will whack you for them. I feel like I need a cigarette. We all do. Steaming Hot Take. Thank you for the $2 New Zealand super chat. Jola Toyek. No, not Snake Ditto. Not the Ditto face, dog. Come on, do better. This is what you like? This is what's doing it for you? Is the Geico lizard not safe around you, bro? Get out of here. Oh, this would be quite good. This would be quite good to fill in the boxes. I mean, the thing is, we're never getting artifact offering out. But this would be a good, like, check the boxes of get double strike for the late game. I do agree with Railway Brawler for the bracket 2 version of, like, backing up the game plan. Doubling, like, hey, a lot of these guys suck. Not if you double their power. But Hish of the Snake Cult. This is not a real card. And it's not in our colors. Fuck off. Oh, does Sab Sunan work here? This definitely works as a way to, like, ease people into your premise. You show people that, they're like, okay, I'm listening. Yeah, a little outside of theme. If you want, and this is again for the bracket 2 version of this deck, this is definitely closer to theme than something that is just strictly good card. This can kind of bridge the gap, but I can see what you're talking about for bracket 1. This doesn't hit it. Like, you definitely run it in the treat section. Like, we get the Crystalline Giant the fuck out of here. Mythwalker, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. But yeah, I think you've got something here. I think right now we're right here only because we're caught between two worlds. And so Starry-Eyed, thank you very much for submitting. I hope you enjoyed your roasting, and audience members, I hope you enjoyed the things you're going to have to think about tonight. Also, Niv Mizzet's the best one. We are going to hit a manual ad break, and then Lore Giver, are you around? If Lore Giver is not around, then we will move on to Little MX Doom. Alias, thank you for that random smasher pass. We will hit that right now, then go to the ad break. Hell yeah, Lore Giver is here. This is just a rock and a bone hand. No. No. I will see you all soon after I recover. MX is pronounced like mix. Okay, so Little Mix Doom. Got it. All right. Frozen, yes, we do. So I will roast a deck that is on Architect. I will just move it over to Moxfield instantly, mainly because if I want to playtest your deck, the Architect playtester is immeasurable dog shit when it comes to videotaping it. Like you can do the playtesting fine, but when it comes to filming the playtesting, Architect's like aspect ratio gets all fucked up super easy. So Starry, I'm glad you found it worth the $69. I hope it's definitely gonna create more than $69 worth of therapy in the world. And now we will hit Lore Giver's deck. Currently, this is a silly, spooky deck. Currently, the deck is in a weird spot where it can absolutely destroy token decks and handle creature decks in general while folding to control decks. Over the course of the last 2 months, it started to take on a new identity as a theme deck where the theme is Massacre Girl going through her first semester at university. Since it's not an option below, the thing I struggle with most is me not having an outside view of whether it's thematic or not and where it lies bracket-wise. For what it's worth, my playgroup likes it, and the deck gets some laughs. Alright. Goth Baddie's first year at college. Barely shows up to class and only in the worst possible situation. Always gives everyone gifts. Not her fault if you can't keep your new creatures alive. It is mostly interested in getting a new high score in her favorite video game. Alright. Crimbus Bimbus 118, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Okay, so tag game first, presumably. If this is Massacre Girl Goes to College, tag game has to be on point. Actual studying. So we have Grim Tutor, Sacrifice. I like the tags. You gotta show me something real important we're playing goddamn Sacrifice for. BFF, Slaughter Specialist. I like this. I think that plays well into Massacre Girl's board clearing. Campus. Very small campus, but okay. Family. Obnixilla's Unshackled. So another way to benefit off creatures dying. Another way to benefit off creatures dying. Another way to benefit off creatures dying. And another way to benefit off creatures dying. Okay. That sounds pretty good. That's a pretty good start. Now this is my Uncle Vogar, the zombie giant. We're definitely using the term family loosely. We're absolutely using the term to cover, like, my friend's dad who hung around a lot is an uncle type shit with the big zombie giant. Yeah, Adam's Family type beat. Which is good. As we said in the last deck, if you have a big theme commitment, you should free yourself up mechanically. So we're doing Found Family, her own style. Massacre. You were probably good as fuck at word searches in elementary school, weren't you, buddy? Weren't you, little buddy? Massacre, Worm, Meat Hook Massacre, and Slice from the Shadows. Hobbies. We have Cabal Ritual. So this is where I can kind of see things beginning to break down because I feel like these suck. Or like they're good but not good in ways that will help us tremendously. Poet's Quill is here because she's a writer, not nothing. Pay attention. Pay attention, fool. It's because she writes poetry. Saw in Half. I feel like there's a sex joke there too, but for hobbies, yeah. Okay. Yep, Whip of Erebos. Alright, so I like most of these. Jewelry. Okay. What's happening in your curve that you need Caged Sun? I know the answer, and the answer's nothing, but I want to hear you tell me what you think is happening in your curve that Caged Sun is, one, either reasonable jewelry for like a 19-year-old or a thing you need mechanically in this deck. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the Cabal ritual. We're executing human sacrifices to the Dark Lord Beelzebub to achieve shit we're just gonna land drop into anyway. We shall move on. Let's go out. Okay. I can mess with Clackbridge Troll, and we get to make other people's stuff to kill. That makes sense. That makes sense. Sure. Close enough. This is another moment where we should stop and think. I think this is another moment where we should stop and think, where this fits thematically into the tag of we're going out on the town. It connects mechanically to what the deck is doing by giving creatures -1/-1 until end of turn. And he should be a land. The situations in which this guy pays off for us is if we're using him to like chain a Massacre Girl turn that otherwise isn't working, it requires too much mana to do unless we have fucking Caged Sun on the field for some reason. And if we play him alone, we can blow out the 1/1s we've given people and it otherwise doesn't matter. So these are the types of things I would look to potentially cut in favor of other thematic includes that can add consistency to the good parts. There are many parts of this deck I believe in. I definitely believe that if Father comes to town and begins getting 2 +1/+1 counters because you Massacre Girled all of these tokens you gave away, that's gotta work. That's gotta work. What I believe in less is Nightclubber just being around. Hey, dog. Damn, I used that. I used that tangent on the wrong card. I should have saved it for the vanilla 3/4 for 4 mana. I should have saved it for the guy that would not have made it out of the draft pack. I do think Serum Powder is thematic, and thematic, flavorful 3 mana rock. We take that. Slaughterhouse Bouncer, when it's put into a graveyard from play, if you have no cards in hand, target creature gets -3/-3. Alright, so everything, much like the actual college experience, things have really gone off the rails once Massacre Girl started drinking, which in some ways is even more thematic. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say if there's anything wrong with this deck, it is 100% whatever gripped your mind after High Society Hunter. It is a bouncer. But when I think about decks, a really important thing I think about is ceiling versus floor. Like we have... maybe a better way to put it is very similar to what we talked about with Starry-Eyed in the previous deck. I tend to see decks operate better when they are either taking hits on power for flavor includes or stretching flavor for powerful includes, and we're doing both with this stretching the definition of jewelry to include Caged Sun and also playing multiple worthless creatures because they have nightclub in their name. I think those are the types of things where if we were just all in on like, yeah, I am going to just tire iron to the knee this deck's ability to play Magic in the name of fully capturing the college experience. Tremendous bracket 1 activity. And then there's also like, family is what you make it. Here's 4 really good cards. I think it starts to get confused when you have those things exist in the same deck. It does not totally destroy a deck, but what it can create is highly variable play experiences, which can be fine depending on your play group. You said you're doing this in a committed play group, and those are typically way more accepting of, hey, sometimes this deck doesn't fucking do anything. But I'm also often thinking of things from the perspective of Gen Pop, because it's like if we... I'm trying to imagine what does the deck lose if we do not have somebody playing the role of nightclub security. It does not feel like we lose very much. And there are better cards, like Cairo Kyuto is pointing out, that we can say is like the club owner if we want to cast Massacre Girl as like high society rich girl, which I kind of feel like is the thing we're already doing if her dad is a vampire and her BFFs are vampires. So that's really what I'm coming in on. These are not bad flavor includes. These are good flavor includes, but they're terrible, terrible Magic cards. And we have other things that are downright shaky flavor includes on account of them being very good, not very good, on account of them being good Magic cards. And when we try to average those things out, decks start to get confused very quickly. And as Mixdoom is saying, there is something to be said for the unlimited comedic potential of I play a 4-mana 3/4. Oh yeah, Gonti could just be the Dean of Students too. Alright, Living on the Edge. Bitter Ordeal, Come Back Wrong, Fake Your Own Death, Feign Death, Not Dead After All, Reanimate. Personally, I would have titled this like Hangover Cures, but I agree with the tag in general, and I agree with the cards in general. Music. Dance of the Dead. Okay, we get to reanimate something. Lots of text for a reanimator effect. Everybody sacks a creature. This is not music, but I do like the effect, so we can look for a tag to put in it later. Absolutely not music, but a good effect so we can find a place to put it. See, like, these are the cards that make me not like the band Genesis. Alright, fine. Fine. Alright. The common through line I'm getting is if we're attempting to justify both Nightclub Security and Infernal Genesis, because Genesis is a band in the real world, if any word or artistic attribute of the card appears in a thing loosely related to college or things college students do, we on? Tribute band, sure. I got there. I don't have to Google tribute band. Alright, these are all good. Shopping. Good thematic include flatly ridiculous effect. Good thematic include good effect. Good effect. I'm sure I'm gonna get hit with like Cabal is a band, dude. Don't you get it? Cabal is a store. Gray Merchant of Asphodel. Embarrassingly, for every other mono black deck we've ever looked at, I think this is the best Gray Merchant of Asphodel include I've ever seen on this stream. Bro is a merchant. This is probably the only deck that has any hope of either looping him or having Devotion to Black. Visiting Grandmas. Yeah, I mean, this could have gone into family as well, for sure. Okay. Okay. Where she sees herself in 5 years. I like that. YouTube short territory. Yes, it's only these two cards, my beloved. It's only these two cards, my sweet little deck builder. Only these two cards are YouTube short territory. Well, these are... This is sideboarded. So we've sideboarded 2 actual win cons. We don't have a considering section. So I think from outside looking in, rather than tell you how to fix this, the submission talked about outside looking in, identifying if it's thematic, identifying what bracket it belongs in. Right now, you are being amorphous on both things. I think that there is definite meat to this deck mechanically, and then sometimes, sorry, I won't get ahead of myself. There's definite meat to this deck mechanically, because the general gameplay loop of I force you to have 1/1s, I kill those 1/1s, killing those 1/1s provides me a benefit that I use to win the game. Solid mechanical loop. If we're trying to make that also a flavor loop, and our flavor runs from this guy's my dad because I said so, to there is a band named Genesis, therefore these cards are Genesis references, to also this guy goes in the deck because he's a club bouncer. That is where I begin to get lost. So there are things we can do to improve it like mechanically, but to improve it on the flavor, this definitely seems like a deck where the flavor has been kind of built by parts. And I think there is a version of this deck where we're like, fuck yeah, 4 mana 3/4, and there's a version of this deck where we're like, what is bro doing here? Because one thing, it's like, what do we lose for not having a 4 mana 3/4? Because we have already abandoned the idea of totally capturing the collegiate experience. He's bringing the vibes. See, Crimbus, I think that is legitimately incorrect. I think that I think if the entire play pattern of this deck matched 4 mana 3/4 or only went a little bit above a 4 mana 3/4, we would go, yeah, this is Dwayne. He works security. He brings the goddamn vibes. But there are plenty of play patterns for this deck where you curve out into token generation and good creatures and constant board wipes, which is not the same vibe as a 4 mana 3/4. You might be able to play that. You might be able to play that off there's definitely like improv comedy shit you can do where you take 3 fucked up turns in a row and then you go, and now I play a 4-mana 3/4. Go ahead. But looking at the deck as a whole, it's not that they're off theme, but the theme is like, hold on, let me go to OPS so I can see. We're like this wide. This is like how we got one knee over here. We got one knee over here with the family members. We got one knee over here with the 4-mana 3/4, and we gotta pick a motherfucking lane. Like, you can't. Next deck I make, I will play a random vanilla creature purely for flavor. You cannot shit into a bowl, put 1 basil leaf on it, and then tell me it's basil flavored. That's what I'm saying. I don't think this deck is that far yet. I do think it would be easier if the theme was more... If the theme was more tunneled. Like if we did just... We've already kind of leaned into... This is Massacre Girl doesn't go to university. This is Massacre Girl fucks off of class. So like we have opportunities to do Dean of Students. There are mechanically a... air quotes failure here. We don't have a lot of cards that are just good on their own. We just don't have, and I mean specifically like our family stuff, our grandma, all of it only works if this 1/1 forced murder thing works. And we don't have a lot of stuff like Grandpa Valgavoth. And that can really, like, I understand we all want everything in our deck to be incredibly cinematic, but not having good top end things kills theme decks every time. As someone who builds a ton of theme decks, you can build like Kindred theme, you can build a flavor theme. If your deck does not have any top end of this card is good when I play it, that is fucking your theme deck, even if you don't know. You might still be having a good time because you're in a good play group. More power to you. Again, you still have a less fun deck than you would have if you had stuff that you could spend a bunch of money on to just do a good thing. Hold on, we have the camera out of whack. So let me goldfish this a little bit to try to attenuate this, like, bracket 1. You want to know what fucking bracket are we in? I skip 3 turns and I play a 3/3. What is the old mulligan? Yes, Alec, but we're not at that point yet. Please, somebody tell me what the old mulligan is. Draw 7, put as many back as you want. What? Oh, you just draw 1 less every time. Okay, well, Moxfield doesn't have an option for mulligan stupidly. So we're just going to mulligan normally. Alright, so we have Sacrifice, which is not going to matter. Okay, but we have Hunted Horror, which is. So we all remember last game how we spent 4 turns doing nothing and played a 3-3. I would now like to introduce you to exact same deck, turn 2 7-7. Tony also has 3-3s. Turn 3, I have a 7-7 and a 6-2. Turn 4, I dark ritual my commander out. I get minimum 3 hits. I get minimum 5 hits. I wouldn't even want a board wipe at this point. I'm just fucking... No, honestly, I don't. I dark ritual Maha. That's what I do. So it's now turn 4. I have 19 power on board. All of my opponent's creatures have base toughness 1-1. This is the exact same timeline where in the previous game we achieved a 3-3 with no relevant text. This is what I mean by that. Mango, grab that wide stance. Put that on the board right now. This is what I'm talking about. And that's why I say that when we do flavor decks, we should either be allowing our deck to be bad for the sake of flavor, or stretching the flavor to make our deck good. We should not be doing both in the same deck, because that is where we get these back-to-back, same point in the game, wildly different outcomes. Wildly different outcomes. And it's fine to be a flavor stretcher or a flavor shrinker, I guess would be the right word. Like, either direction you go is good, but consistency in that direction is good. Because even though variance is a positive thing in Commander games, this is crazy. And this is just 2 goldfishes. Oh, hey, hell yeah. 4 mana, 3-4. That's what I'm fucking talking about. We Dowsing Dagger. We don't attach it to shit. Genesis Chamber. Other people get 1/1s. Is turn 4. 4 mana, 3-4. Turn 6, I wipe everybody. This guy definitely fucking dies. And we have... I mean, we can wind up that turn... We can wind up that turn a little better by spending turn 6 playing Meat Hook Massacre for X equals none, and then play Massacre Girl, and then try to deal some life damage on turn 7. But like, three different decks have hit the Moxfield playtester in 3 different presses of the restart button. Which I don't necessarily think is your fault. Again, because this deck, you said this deck evolved into a flavor deck. And that's what causes you to get really inconsistent flavors when you decide halfway through microwaving the mac and cheese that you're going to add a bunch of spices to it. Manta Ray, the 3 ways to get your deck roasted are either in the free roasting stream every month, through Ko-Fi commissions, which sold out just this past weekend, or you can spend $500 to have something roasted instantly. So if we do... Let me pull up a temporary slide. I forgot what happened here, but get shit on, weirdest one. So mechanical. these are the two paths that lie in front of you to potentially editing this deck if you want to. I don't think this deck is unacceptable, especially in the context of a dedicated play group. Like, dedicated play groups where you're just playing with your friends and people you know, they will accept a lot of misbehavior. They will be totally fine if you want to put a used diaper onto your playmat, which is, again, what this 4 mana 3/4 is. And so it's not really a problem if you're all having fun. From the outside looking in, your bracket is bracket 1, 2, or 3, depending on how lucky you got when you shuffled it. Which means it's bracket 3, but is sometimes quite bad. And I can see why it's struggling when you deal with any type of control decks, because not every single card, like Clackbridge Troll is still good for giving other people creatures. High Society Hunter still works really well with what your deck wants to do. But a lot of the cards in the Let's Go Out section, and these like Gilded Lotus and Cage Sun, these are the most expensive things in your deck. The most expensive things you can cast are ramp for things that cost less than them. And so all of these card slots are one where you've like thrown in the flavor at the last second. And in a more functional deck, these would be the types of cards dedicated to getting past the control player. But in this deck, they're dedicated towards this is jewelry. And then again, we have this is my dad because I said so, and he synergizes with my commander. So if we want to make it mechanically more appropriate, we need more guys that just feel good to cast. Other than, it doesn't have to be Valgavoth. This is the one I always go to because I love him. But he could be the dorms themselves, as one of our chat members suggested. There's an almost endless number of references we can pull from if the bar for a flavor inclusion is Genesis. Genesis is a band, therefore a card with the name Genesis in it is a flavor pick. If that is the only bar we have to clear, we can put any card in Magic the Gathering in this deck. We will find a way. And if we want it to be a deep, deep flavor deck, we should define flavor more clearly. Because then I think the cards that are like, Genesis is a band, therefore anything with Genesis in the name is a flavor pick, the flavor police start to arrest you at that point. Now, the upside of this deck, you absolutely understand comedy. The moment you put Prakata Club Security in here, you understand comedy on a foundational level. And you also understand the fundamentals of how your deck wants to play at a foundational level. We are just trying to fit both into too little space at present moment. And so I think you kind of end up... Here, let me delete this. We're going to move Nightwing now because you had your moment. I think this deck kind of ends up in the same place that Nightwing's deck was in, where we're half on the side of I would like to play good Magic, and half on the side of, well, isn't this card just so cute? TBH, I would love to see a whole deck of club security level includes, LOL. And that's what the bracket 1 version of this deck is. Like, bracket 1 of this deck is everything is a like deep spot on reference, and we don't give a fuck about how good the card is. And then the bracket 3 version of this deck stuff has to be like Gray Merchant level reference, where, okay, this is believably a shopping reference, and Gray Merchant of Asphodel is a good Magic card that will help us win games. Or like the pets with Hunted Brown Brute and Hunted Horror. These are really, really good. These are highly functional and 100% believable. But then we have some that are 100% functional, totally unbelievable, and some that are 100% believable, totally non-functional. And again, until we really nail down the rules for flavor inclusions, you can include any card in the game in this deck. I have said this 27 times because comedy comes in 27s. If our rule is this is a band in real life, therefore if its name is on the card name, it is a band reference and therefore a flavor inclusion because college kids listen to music, we can get Krenko in this shit, even though it's the wrong colors. And so if we want it to be bracket 1, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to have a fucking rubric for it, but we do gotta firm up the inclusion rules a little bit, or at least try to keep everything to a similar level of includability. And then there's some stuff like the fast mana and the rituals, insanity. Absolute insanity. The cleanest include for Valgavoth is just he is the dorm. For Delirium, who suggested, because they watch horror movies in chat, the cleanest way we put Valgavoth in this deck is bro is a house. This is the house that Masker Girl attends classes in. But like we could just call Rise of the Dark Realms a rave. Exact same level of flavor include. Valgavoth just feels weird because he dies when she enters. Why would you play Valgavoth before Massacre Girl? I'm legitimately not trying to be cute. This is the type of shit you play after you have cleared the board. Like, this is something you play after Massacre Girl has come in. Motherfucker's 9 mana. This is not... Third or fourth recast. I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound crazy. Sometimes it's better to hit a bitch with the 9/9. Can we come together on that right now? If you are winding up to cast Massacre Girl the 4th time, and you think, oh no, now this isn't as good because it would kill my flying lifelinking 9/9. Maybe Massacre Girl can miss class that day, as you yourself has said is the flavor of the deck. Like at that point we are falling to the piloting brainworm of like, the only thing worth doing is making Commander text box as hard as possible, which is just wrong. That's just wrong in every bracket. I will bear some degree of patience for it as I attempt to lead you to a better life, but it's just flatly wrong every time. Because there should also be a great many number of board states where Valgavoth where like you can kill stuff and Valgavoth doesn't die. If there is always an 8 creature ladder available to you, something fucked up and evil is happening in that playgroup. Sengir is better at that point, but I guess you're right. I would agree that anything from the existing family is better, but this is where we start to get into concentration over just having them. You have 4 of these cards in your deck, and you have one goddamn way to draw additional cards per turn. So when we talk about, oh, I would rather draw Sengir, like, sure, motherfucker, you're drawing a 15th swamp. You don't get to pick. And so when we want to have a top end, our top end needs to be like 5 to 10 creatures deep if we want to realistically draw them, unless our games take 20 turns. If we're like deep in the fucking, we all play really bad cards, we get to take 20 turns every single game, then yeah, you'll get to these guys. But I'm not saying cut Sengir for Valgavoth. I'm saying Valgavoth just also goes in this section of good cards who make shit happen. And then, yes, at long last, we can include fucking War Room that Alec Man has been begging for, which is just the most best card draw utility land for any monocolor commander. And then we can also do Castle Lochthwain, which is another way to draw some cards. Thank you, Dog Sauce. It would definitely be worth bringing Rise of the Dark Realms back if we're going to be killing so goddamn many things. And again, you call this a rave, you call this a flash mob, you can call it literally whatever you want. But the bottom line is we need something to spend 7 or more mana on that is going to be impactful just because we cast it. And then after that, sure, we cut the fucking 3 mana 3/4 for things that draw us cards so that we can get to things that actually move the game along. Or if we want to depower it, we have to be like, this is just a fucking guy who's good. There's a murder on campus. Like, we're just saying words. Just point at a card. Hey, for $1, say any sentence that relates a shirtless man to college. This is now a flavor include. Breach the multiverse? I got you. Acid trip. Acid trip. Experimented with drugs. There's like, it's that easy. There's no... We can just say stuff. We got Genesis in here. We're allowed to do whatever. Wait, you weren't murdered by a shirtless man in college? Loser. Oh yeah, feed the swarm is shitty dorm food. This is just like Insect Club. Insect Club. Yeah, so closing notes. I think the deck has a lot of promise. I think you've done a lot of clever things here, both with the tag game and with the mechanical stuff, but I think you have done those clever things independent of each other. And if you want the deck to be a true theme deck, we have to evolve beyond the word association game. which is currently the bar for it being a flavor include. And if we want it to be mechanically consistent, we must kill the 3 mana 3/4 and all of his friends. But thank you very much for submitting. That is going to be it for this deck. We're going to hit another ad break and then get into Little Mix Dooms. Crazy Wizard, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate that generosity. How would you feel about a deck of only vanilla creatures? That sounds like a really boring aggro deck. Oh yeah, honorable mention for Good Girl Zoria's Night's Whisper, French Class, Test Anxiety, how about in blue? Is it vanilla? Uncompelling. I derive very, very little joy in this game from novelty. And so the idea of, oh, what if I showed you a mono blue list that was only vanilla? I would be like, oh, I believe you. That sounds pretty bad. Twaddle49, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. It's like the same type of word association that we were hitting on in this deck, where it's like, okay, yeah, man, those are two words that typically don't go together that you've put next to each other. Would you like a gold star? And they don't. All right. It's all Uber for dogs. All of these decks are just Uber for dogs. Great sentence. Bad idea. Mauled, you were right. I made a monster. My friend messaged me saying he is building another landfall deck because he needs more landfall action. Can I save him or is it too late? Honestly, if your friend... if he thinks that one landfall deck can be different to another landfall deck, he doesn't need therapy. He needs to go back to elementary school. Like, bro's like, oh my god, dude, this square deck you gave me was so fucked up and crazy. I'm making a rectangle deck. I just need more. I just need more, bro. Oh no. I must piss max more because I've been hydrating too much this stream. Okay, I am back. Ursox Fury is asking, how do we submit decks? Ursox, there is 3 ways. The first way, there's a free roast stream done on Twitch every single month. That will be done first week of June, next month. If you don't get into the free roast stream, we sell commissions on Ko-Fi the first Sunday of every month. For June, that's a little up in the air because the first Sunday of June is technically June 1st, the first day, which is going to conflict with when the free roasting stream happens. So wait for future announcements about when those commissions go on sale. Or at any moment, you can pay $500 and I will roast your deck on the spot. I will stop whatever I'm doing. I'm still not over the Scaly deck. I wasn't in the right mental state when it started. SMH my head. Listen, Terrence, I'm sorry for you, but we're going to keep going with more fucked up shit. Next is Little Mix Doom's Spooky deck. Ignore the man on the front of the card. We only care about Awaken the Blood avatar. Make tokens, sack tokens, make avatars, attack with avatars, question mark, question mark, question mark. Win, I think. From my experience, the attack trigger of the avatars do put the game on a clock for my opponents, but I have not actually won a game with this deck yet. Awaken my masters, IDK, I haven't watched JoJo's. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me, I don't watch that either. Alright, so we have Awaken the Blood avatar, which is, we can sack creatures to cost reduce it. Everybody else sacrifices a thing. We get a 3/6 non-legendary, notably. Whenever it attacks, it deals 3 to each opponent. Okay. There's immediately a couple directions we can go to make that work. This also seems like we are on mechanical flavor and not on theme flavor. The theme is I cast a sorcery many times. Joe Salsa, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. I'm waiting for Universes Beyond furries. Listen, there's no way we don't get B-stars eventually. Blood Avatar's little helpers. So we have double vision. Very, very optimistic. Commander spells have Cascade. That's quite good value. Skull Storm. This seems weird. This seems like you were having a bad day when you put it in the deck. I do think the stuff that benefits off of you having cast your commander a lot, reasonable. Trying to make people sack more, I think less reasonable, less fun than... Like, legitimately one-to-one comparison with this. This is when I will play into the fucking commander player brainworms of how do commander as many times as possible. Not Skullstorm, Fury Storm. I have cast Awaken the Blood avatar twice this game. I Fury Storm into my next cast of Awaken the Blood avatar, and I cast it 4 times. Used to be in the deck... Fury Storm goes infinite. What? What does it go? Well, yeah, but that... Copying Fury Storm with itself is the most fucking actually behavior you can ever do, because that achieves, if you don't have... Is it going infinite with something else in the deck, or are we talking about Fury Storm going infinite with itself? Because at that point, if we just avoid Magecraft payoffs, then it's like... That goes infinite the same way I can hold priority forever. No, I wouldn't add Magecraft to win. If anything, I would keep Magecraft out. MDFCs are good. I'm really just looking for Professor Onyx. Or like anything that's going to make this a oops, I win type of infinite. Manta Ray, we're not trying to add Magecraft right now. We're looking to make sure it doesn't have Magecraft. Because they said they cut this because it goes infinite. But if we don't have a Magecraft thing that's winning the game, you can... Like, you can make Fury Storm keep copying itself, but that is legitimately infinite, accomplishes nothing. Sedgemoor Witch. Okay. Okay, so we're keeping it out because it will create infinite creatures, and we want this to stay bracket 2. We can work with that. I still think this sucks. Bro, trust. I absolutely do not trust you. Can't think of a clever tag for removal. It's honestly enough that you just brought this much removal. No, Waffles, if you... It's honestly... It's stinky poo-poo to say I have this infinite, but I'm not going to use it. If we have a way for the infinite to matter, it's better to cut it than to be like, oh, I'm not gonna do it. Invasion of Tolvada gives tokens lifelink. I can read that. However, lifelink is coward dog shit. Especially in Mardu, I hit you. If we're playing around lifelink, no wonder we've never won a game. Good God, man. Or woman or creature, whatever your pronouns are, but good fucking God. Okay, creatures you control gain afterlife. I can kind of see this to reuse our shit. What is this even doing? We make everybody sack a creature. So we want to be on 3 things, probably. We want to be on token generation. We want to be on things that make us attack better. And then we have room for something else. Drawing out blood. Presumably reasonable that you'll make this happen somehow. Yeah, if we're on Mardu token generation, then I think the whole pile of token card draw .deck can go in here. Lolth is clever. Whenever an opponent is dealt combat damage by one or more creatures you control, if that player lost less than 8 life this turn. Okay. Okay. I think Famer or Seize the Spotlight is a generically good enough card that I'll let you rock. Okay, Voter's Dilemma works. Graveyard, more like Raveyard. We're allowed to sacrifice as a cost, right? Okay, so we don't need sack outlets because our commander is the sack outlet. So that does make stuff that can come back from the yard better. I think all of these work. Archon, we do care about attacking better because that's how we hope to eventually win. Like we want to either make additional avatar tokens, we want to either make that trigger hurt more, or we want to make our avatar tokens fight better, or we want to do like additional combats or something. Token DEI hires. Whenever something dies, make a 1/1 satyr, make double, assemble the legion. This is actually one of the few decks where I think assemble the legion could kind of cook, because this is how you will eventually cast awaken. That's how you cast it every single turn. Do you have a deck list for the Marina Vendrell deck you made? I have not made a Marina Vendrell deck, so I'm not sure what deck you're referring to. I think this is a mistake. That's a good token generator. I think this one's on the bubble. I think this is a mistake. I think this is kind of a mistake. That one's good. Fucked up and hateful. Fucked up and hateful and good. This can kind of work. At minimum, this is a mana dump. Sure. Sure, white. Hey, God, do I need advantage? No. No, stop. I mean, okay. I'll let you work. I'll let you work. No. Kind of believe in that. Don't believe in this as much because we're not doubling down on Magecraft. We can kind of do enough with like whenever we cast non-creature spells. But we have 23 instants and sorceries, and I realize we want to cast one from the command zone, and we'll see how it looks when I go to goldfish it. I kind of don't believe in your like big token generation ability. Or a lot of these feel very, very slow. Wriggling Grub is downright fine. The least could be good. Let me just see how it plays. Let me just see how it plays. So we get to... We will eventually need that land because we have assembled a legion in hand. So we do nothing. We ramp. We do not have 5 motherfucking mana. We let this ETB tapped and we Bastion of Remembrance. I broadly think this is a waste of a turn for this type of deck because I don't think our things should make only 1 token once. And I think what this deck is suffering from mechanically, the reason it doesn't win is because you are shoehorning yourself into tutorial boss mode. And what I mean by that is you have a very transparent win condition and you have really limited yourself on ways to pop out and show people, which is an important part of Magic at every bracket above bracket 1. If you're down in exhibition, you can have like, we are T-minus 17 days from me doing something powerful, but at every bracket above bracket 1, you want ways to establish a clock so that people think they know how threatening you are, and then you want ways to speed up that clock before they can react. And this deck seems exclusively like ways to set clocks and no ways to speed them up. So we go Abby. We go this. This is presumably like the best card in our deck, which is hilarious. So we assemble the Legion. I'm going to make a dwarf because it truly does not matter what type of counter is on this guy. How much is this? This is 8, but it goes down 2 for every creature we sack. Okay, we pay 8. Awaken the Blood Avatar happens. I get my 3/6. I attack. I have triggered Blood Avatar once. I'm just going to put a counter on it over here to keep track of it. This thing goes up to 2 counters. We pay 3 life. I make 2 dwarfs. I'm going to keep the dwarf token under this guy. So this costs 10 now. 8, 6. We have 6. I pay 6. We cast Awaken the Blood Avatar again. We have 2 Blood Avatar triggers. This is up to 3. And now what will happen is Awaken the Blood Avatar will increase in cost by 2 every turn, and we will get 1 additional token to cost reduce it by 2 every turn. So we can just cast Awaken the Blood Avatar every single turn of the game. And like Bastion of Remembrance doesn't super matter. I don't think casting Legion's Landing would really matter. I think the avatars are going to get blocked to death eventually. I do not think that's true because we are edicting every time we do this. If I edict you every single turn, eventually I will have good swings on people. So it's just turn 7, a 3rd avatar. I don't think it's too mean for tier 2. I think this is the I think this is like hilariously, this is the best card in the deck. The best possible thing this deck can do is ramp into Assemble the Legion. I do not believe that attack... So looking at this, I do not believe that attack trigger doublers are actually the way to go. I think the better way to go is replace our bad token generators for better token generators. I think anything that can only make... See, like Blood Art... No. No. This is where the cowardice is within you. Don't do that. Stop gaining life. Everybody's life goes to 0. This could be another mana rock to cast Assemble the Legion sooner. Yeah, I think Windcrag Siege would be good. So I'm actually now, I'm much more on token on upkeep than I was. When I looked at the deck the first time, my first thing was like, tokens on upkeep seems kind of too slow. But looking at that playtest, if every game we just got to play like a token on upkeep effect, I think you can cast Blood Avatar enough to turbo fuck everybody. So like Windcrag Siege, Bitter Blossom, other good all-star token generators Adeline. These are way better than your Aristocrats effects. I think the reason this deck is probably failing to win is you are attempting to win by arithmetic rather than brutal violence. Did I look at the Chandra, by the way? Yes, your double vision with Riz. I did see this. So like Wriggling Grub we can kind of play with. However, Bitter Blossom is better than Wriggling Grub in every instance. Ophiomancer... Ophiomancer I honestly don't believe in. Sengir Autocrat. This is one of the better one-offs we can get. We're not on Blink, so we're not going to be able to do it over and over and over again. But you cut Bastion of Remembrance for this instantly. Instantly. Like we have... Yeah, I think that's the confusion of this deck. This deck is half Avatar pilled and half Aristocrat pilled. So rather than being on the things that Aristocrat decks want to do, which is typically value loops to try to slowly drain the table out, you can make good attackers very quickly while also clearing the board very regularly. So rather than doing this bullshit coward value loop thing, just be like, give me some boys, I'm going to put them in the wood chipper. Next turn, I would like some new boys. Put them in the wood chipper. Next turn, can I get some new boys, please? Get me a new wood chipper. The old one has too much blood on it. Whereas right now, we're trying to win this war through fucking accounting, which is lame as shit. Now, things like Blight Mound are going to replace themselves, are going to replace the boys for you. So those are still fine, but if it does not make you a new boy to feed into the Blood Avatar machine, it's just crazy whatever. We have Court of Grace already. I legitimately question a 4-mana thing that only makes 1 token. Court of Grace is costed around the fact that it can make you a 4/4, but we don't care if it makes you a 4/4. We only care that it makes you one more boy to throw into the fucking pit. So... Alright. I am now going to go through and call out everything that I think is dog shit. Or not dog shit. That's too aggressive of a word. I'm going to call out everything that I think is too focused on the Aristocrats game plan and is not focused enough on making boys to feed into the deck. Skullstorm. Priest of Forgotten Gods. These are all okay because there are boys we can put back into the wood chipper. I feel like they are broadly worse than card draw interaction or ramp to get to our more expensive, bigger token generators. So I don't think they're too much on the Aristocrats game plan, but I think they're too much worse than Assemble the Legion. Every MDFC is fine because it's just a fucking land. Don't believe in Young Pyromancer. Don't believe in Wriggling Grub. Don't believe in Sedgemoor Witch. Don't believe in Ophiomancer. Don't believe in Elenda the Dusk Rose. Don't believe in Court of Grace. Don't believe in Bastion of Remembrance. Don't believe in Zulaport Cutthroat. Don't believe in Cruel Celebrant. Don't believe in Blood Artist. Yeah. And then even Elenda, I can see the magical Christmas land that you want to live in. But a lot of stuff has to go right. No, Smoke, that was the whole point, is I don't believe that we should... I think the Aristocrat strategy is what is holding this deck down. Lolth is really not great, but it says draw a card on it, and holy fuck do we need cards that say draw a card on it. Like, it would also be... It would be very chill if this was just Phyrexian Arena. It would be exactly as useful as it already is. You're surprised I didn't say anything bad about Master of Ceremonies. I mean, bro is a Swiss Army knife for decks that don't work good. Either you get money, you get a creature to sacrifice, or you get a card. All of those are fine. It's bad to let other people choose things, but we have... we gotta fix a lot of other shit first. So if we put in Elemental Mastery, the most likely scenario is we are equipping this to an avatar, and then we are no longer swinging with our avatar to instead cost reduce our next blood avatar. That's not horrible because it turns one avatar into a 6 mana cost reduction for our next avatar, but I think it is a little distracted. Very true. Anim Pakal would probably become one of your best token generators almost instantly. I cannot think of anything in this deck that you would rather play at 3 mana. You know, save like Anguished Unmaking because you really had to remove something. But like one of these card draw spells, you would be trying to draw to Anim Pakal. I think Skrelv's Hive is fine. I think this is the bar we need to clear. I think is the thing I am doing better than Skrelv's Hive? If it isn't, it probably gets cut from the deck. Skrelv's Hive would scare the hose, my pod. Then, okay, then we introduce Bitter Blossom as the literal exact same effect, and that is the type of bar we are trying to clear. Is can I get on my upkeep a 1/1 to feed into my Blood Avatar machine? This is unfortunately a deck that does begin to want things like Mondrak. Both because our commander is making tokens and a critical mass of things we want to do in the deck are making tokens. So for probably the first time in my life, I'm going to genuinely recommend you put a token doubler in this deck. Because you just end up winning on both sides of it. Either this doubles the thing you're making to feed your commander, or you cast your commander and then you get double avatars out. No matter what, I will keep Ink Shield. Bro is defending something that was never under attack. This card is perfect. Where'd it fucking go? Like we're walking around Little Mix Doom's room going like, hey, you should really pick up this underwear, and they're in the corner screaming, you'll never make me floss! Never! We're not even on that. We're not even on that. This is great in this deck. This is awesome. Do this, please. I don't think rabble rousing is good here because I think five mana feels like too much to need the deck to already be working. If we compare this to the other thing we're doing at 5 mana, which is Assemble the Legion, holy shit is this so much worse than Assemble the Legion. If we're already cooking and we already have a shitload of blood avatars out, then this can be nitrous. But with this deck, if this deck has never won a game, I think the Lease is already our version of this. The Lease is the deepest into win more hell that we can allow ourselves to get. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Loyal Apprentice and Hanwar Militia Captain. That is strike one. We are never going to control our commander. I don't like this because I think it requires us to save up too many creatures. Ideally, we want to be casting our first Blood Avatar thing on turn 4 because we have sacrificed 2 creatures and tapped 4 lands. This is strike 2. I do not think we should be betting on our opponents being unable to block 1/1s. I know that we have faith that we will get our attacks through eventually if we are able to cast Awaken the Blood Avatar a million fucking times. But when we're trying to get tokens to fuel the first cast of it, these have to make it to main phase 2. Also, no. Okay, that is strike 3 for Twitch chat. No more suggestions will be listened to. We may eventually include things like this if we get tremendously desperate. We do not want to be operating on the assumption that our opponents will not be able to block 1/1s. Yeah, chat has been vine boomed. So what we want is Bitter Blossom and Bitter Blossom accessories. The only version of make on swing that we will abide are things like Adeline, where it makes 3 anyway, she is a threat herself, and we don't have to get rid of them at end of turn, so we don't always have to be able to sacrifice them that turn. Like Dalkovan Pack Beast, if we can't sacrifice these 1/1s the turn we make them, they are useless. For Adeline, if we can't use them the turn we make them, we get to save them for our next turn. Upkeep, create 1/1 in Mardu, please. Directly into my gullet. No. We have this already. This fucks us because they attack each turn if able. You know, we saw this in the last deck. We have no synergy to go with it, but oh my god, could that be so many minions? This is again right on the edge. It's at that, like, it's 4 mana and it only makes one guy, which I don't appreciate. But it does tap stuff down, which can let us get swings through. We have Skrelv's Hive, which you have said will scare the hoes. We already talked about Windcrag Siege. So other things we can do. We do not want make 1 token Elspeth. So regrettably, another token doubler that immediately makes tokens. I don't think we use any of the other of this, but I hate that this deck can actually utilize token generation. Even this practically becomes playable for you, which is god awful, but it does. Because, like, if we consider it if we think about this card in the calculus of Awaken the Blood Avatar math, it becomes, for 6 mana, I cost reduce my next Blood Avatar by 6 mana. That's even. Our board wipe doesn't hit the avatars. If we are allowed to alt this Planeswalker, our avatars achieve aerial dominance. Alec Man, thank you for the $2 super chat. Please mauled Outlaws Merriment. My love most certainly can be bought. And this is through YouTube chat as well. This is very cute, but again falls into the problem of 4 mana only make 1. For 4 mana, and again, it's 4 mana only make 1. And the card is balanced around the fact that it can make you good tokens. And we are not trying to balance around the tokens being good. We are trying to balance around making as many of them as possible. Endrixar, I don't know. We're only on 28 creatures. How many... We have 1 creature in this hand. We have 2 creatures. Okay. What I would believe in more than Endrixar is populate stuff. Populate's gonna play for you in the same way that a token doubler would, in the sense of it will either double the things feeding your avatars or it will double your avatars. This is very Winmore. We might be Dovehawking on him. I think it is likely... Ooh, and the avatar tokens have haste. So if we have any avatars... This is actually pretty fucking tight. So yeah, I would recommend nesting Dovehawk from the top ropes. Runin, thank you for that 100-bit cheer and attempting to subvert the Twitch chat timeout. Will I do it for... Will I take a card for $1 from the band chatters? I said I would at the beginning of this stream. I will set the bidding at 1 card per $1. So I will say Black Market Connections, yes, good for the deck. I thought you had it already. We don't have Black Market. Oh, it was in the previous deck. Yeah, get Black Market Connections in this bitch. Rudin, thank you for the 200 additional bits. This would get fucked up too. This is kind of... It is win more, but your commander is a mana dump, and so I like almost believe in it. Okay, so Muster the Departed is another one. This is actually the 1-for-1 better thing than Bastion of Remembrance. Because instead of getting some fucking dumb little piddly I get to ping you for 1 damage thing off of our avatar triggers, we only get 1 token, which sucks. However, whatever turn you're able to execute your first blood avatar, you actually get 2 blood avatars. And then any turn that you are able to cast your commander, you get 2 tokens instead of 1. So it becomes a like 3 mana avatar specific token doubler, which I believe can work for you over things like fucking Ophiomancer. Ioka, thank you very much for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. And Mixed Doom, thank you for the Smasher Pass on the Blood Avatar token. Smash. Easy. I won't be judged. Easy smash. I do not believe in determined iteration. I do not believe in any version of these... Twitch chat's banned. I don't even have to justify myself to you. I like Dovehawk off the top rope, and I like Muster the Departed. And I think the rest of this deck's very close to good. What we saw out of... The playtest we saw of ramp into Muster the Legion is fucked up and strong. And we don't have to work very hard to get something good on top of that. So turn 3, we did that, then we do that. Surveil 1. That guy's fine. So we get to play this guy. And we play this. And we just ramp a fucking million. I hard cast Overlord of the Mistmoors on turn 5. I've skipped a ton of turns. And honestly, if they let me do this, fuck them. And then after this, I just start winning. Like, I sack 3 things to make my first commander cast cost 2 mana. Now my commander costs 10. I can swing this. I get 2 more creatures. It goes down to 6. I cast my commander twice the first turn I got to cast it. So I'm double avatared up on a Tuesday afternoon. And I've edicted my opponents twice. And this is like an imperious enough board state that I almost believe in you. And if we get board wiped, we just recommit with Krenko. So I think the deck is actually pretty fine, especially for bracket 2. I think for bracket 2, this is critically okay. This we kept a very, very slow hand to ramp over and over. But if we either mulligan or just had a hand that looked anything like Bitter Blossom, like Nesting Dovehawk, or like Muster the Departed, the deck can get going. Is there enough black token generation for Teysa Orzhov Scion to act as a minor token doubler? No, I don't think so. Or specifically, this is not worth doing when for 1 additional mana we can just play Mondrak. Or at 3 mana, not even for 1 more mana. What's that fucking 3 mana? What's this dumbass card? Renewed Solidarity. We would rather just play Renewed Solidarity over Teysa and then pick avatars. Pick avatars, we get a 4/6 avatar. DMC, thank you for the 200-bit cheer. Wake the Reflections, Promise of Aclazotz, if we haven't gone over it. This I don't think is good. I don't think it's good enough to be dedicating a slot to just populating. I think it must do populate and another thing if we are going to populate. So like Nesting Dovehawk makes us a body and populates repeatedly. The other populator we looked at populates every turn when something dies. Gnome or Orsolino, thank you for the $2 super chat on YouTube. We'll get to that after we finish DMC's bit cheer. Promise of Aclazotz. No, because this mandates that we... I think it's weird for our curve. We would be playing this at a time where we want to be playing token generators, and this is a machine that allows us to convert non-avatar tokens into avatar tokens. But I'd rather play Nesting Dovehawk. I'd rather... So it's not bad, but it seems like you would play... In the gold fishing we did, I was pretty much always dumping all of our available tokens into creating additional blood avatars. And it just seems like this would motivate you... It seems like it would motivate you to do weird math. So Mixed Doom, if you believe in the weird math, you can run this. I think you have enough things that do not incentivize weird math and just do better populate effects. Suds Ball, thank you for the 200-bit cheer. What about Rise of the Dead Marn? Oh, the Dread Marn. You can foretell it early. Okay, we're about to ban people from bit cheering cards. It's Metacall, Mixed Doom. It's not terrible if your playgroup is running a lot of creature board wipes. If you get... It seems like win more, honestly. It seems like something where we're building it on top of... We would have to put this off to the side and wait to get a good Blood Avatar turn to then make this pay off. Whereas I'm worried about getting to a good Blood Avatar turn in the first place. It is juicy as a like pie in the sky best case scenario. Mixed Doom, if you make these changes and they still don't work, then I would try damage doublers. I really don't think you need one. Based off the bracket 2 games that I run, if we could just get you really reliably generating these blood avatars earlier and swinging earlier, I don't think you'll need a damage doubler. Tuscan Fury, thank you for the 250 bits for the bit throne. And Hunter the Lurker, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. Okay, and then Nomer, Gired's Belligerence. I think this is one that I skipped over. No, way too conditional. Potentially very fun. But for this to work well, a lot of stuff has to line up, and we're working in the space of what doesn't have to line up, what just does good. Then Elikman, thank you for the $2 super chat. Rootborn Defenses. Honestly, this would be good to run as board wipe protection. I think after you make these types of edits, you may need, like, fuck Skullstorm immediately. I would believe in Rootborn Defenses over Skullstorm instantly, because another thing you need is board wipe insurance. What is going to stop this deck after we make it more reliable at doing Blood Avatar stuff is you don't want to get hit with a board wipe, and so you also don't want to you don't want to get board wiped, you don't want to get hit with Farewell. The way to stop that is things like Rootborn Defenses, also things like there is a 4-mana Clever Concealment is the card I'm thinking of to phase them out to dodge a Farewell. So I would also recommend at least one card like this, if not multiple cards like this. You won't get other phase out cards, but other you could do Galadriel's Dismissal, which would work. This is another way for you to duck a Farewell. Because you're very, very weak to I kill everything, I bounce everything, I exile everything. So I think that is actually the type of interaction you need more than anything. And I think this deck will speed up a lot once we abandon all of the aristocrat stuff in favor of make token as many as quickly as we can. Make avatar hit you, yes. Yeah, Guardian of Faith also playable in this instance. Alright, so we'll move Starry-Eye back on top of Loregiver. I think we're floating in the middle. I like Awaken the Blood Avatar a lot more than I like other workhorse strategies, but this is definitely another workhorse strategy. I think it's better. I think it almost works, but I think catching yourself on the aristocrat synergies is what's preventing it from really going hot. Mixed Doom, when I say workhorse, what I mean is the flavor is relatively unimportant. We are playing the deck to play good, solid Magic. And so any theming you have is mechanical rather than, like, this is not Massacre Girl Goes to College. This is, I am casting Awaken the Blood Avatar many times, and I am killing you with Blood Avatar tokens. That is what I mean by workhorse. So thank you very much for submitting. That is going to be the end of this deck and the end of today's stream. We are going to find a friend to raid out into, and we will be live again Friday doing Darkest Dungeon stuff. So thank you all for coming today. Thank you all for the follows, the subs, the cheers. I appreciate every last one of you. Let's see which of our friends are live. Beeps is live playing Expedition 33, so we're going to raid Beeps. hit them with the indestructible Justin. Oh, wait. Hold on. No. We're going to commit mental violence against Beeps. Where's that one fucking card from Starry Eyes? It's in considering. The raid message is going to be, why Grim Gigantosaurus looking at me like that? Giganotosaurus. Why Grim Giganotosaurus staring like that is going to be the raid message. Please be kind. I hope you had a good stream. I hope I will see you Friday. And please remember to stay toxic. YouTube, that's just going to be it for us.